Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. For those of you coming by for the first time, you're welcome as well. Virtue Grace here as usual. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We're going to be having a very important and timely conversation tonight. I have a guest who will be joining me in the conversation shortly. This very timely, given the events that have happened in my country, Nigeria, which a lot of you are aware of already. I've brought you several videos and updates about the situation in Nigeria. But now the question we are asking and trying to find answers to is how do we move forward using this energy, using this awakening that has swept across the country and is still sweeping now that we are all on this journey to rebuild our nation, to reclaim the destiny of our nation, Nigeria, into our hands, and by extension Africa. How do we go from here, utilizing the leadership skills and prowess that African Nigerian youth specifically have demonstrated in the past weeks. So I have a guest who will be joining me. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, who are coming by and have not subscribed, please endeavor to click on the subscribe button to join the Grace family. And for those, when you do, endeavor to tap on the bell so you get notified each time I upload a new video or do a live stream. Welcome. This is going to be very insightful and interesting. Share this stream, share it wide across all social media. We need to have more people to tune in because this conversation is very important. Every African youth, every Nigerian youth needs to be part of this conversation because we have an urgent assignment to deliver. Okay, so endeavor to share this stream. My guest will be joining us shortly. Yeah, he's here. So we're going to start the conversation. Welcome to the stream, Honorable Angu, my brother.
Thank you very much. It's good to have me here.
So thank you so much for joining me. So this is what happened, fam. I reached out to him just today. We did not pre-plan this conversation. I just reached out to him because the need for us to have this conversation was so heavy on my heart, and I thought of no other person. He was a person who came to mind, and for obvious reasons. Immediately, I reached out to him, and he accepted for us to have this conversation. So thank you so much, Honorable Ongu, my brother. I would love for you to introduce yourself. We have people joining us from all over the world. I have people who will be tuning in from America, across Africa, from the Caribbean and all. So that's the diverse audience, the members of audience that I have today, largely Black people, people of African descent, who are so very much interested in the progress and prosperity of Africa. So this conversation is timely and is targeted at the right people. I have Nigerians obviously as well. So so introduce yourself.
All right, thank you very much. Sorry for the network glitch. Just like you rightly introduced, my name is Anngu Orngu, and I am also the senior special assistant to the Benue State Governor on Student Affairs. I'm passionate about the young people of Africa, particularly. I'm passionate about leadership development. I'm passionate about business development. I'm passionate about entrepreneurship development. I'm also very passionate about human rights, how the rights of people will not be trampled upon by whoever it is. So, in a nutshell, that is who I am. And as it is, being a political appointee, I think I'm also a politician.
Exactly.
At this point.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So Yeah, go on.
No, thank you. Thank you. I think basically that is who Ongu Angu is. I'm a Christian. I'm a father. I'm a husband to one wife. I'm a husband to one female wife. I think I need to
Right.
make that emphasis.
Okay, right. So thank you so much, Ongo, for joining us. Like I said, and you've heard him introduce himself as well. He is the senior special assistant to the governor of Benue State on student affairs. So being a leader and a youth himself, it's very important for us to have his perspective on the issues of leadership as far as young people, are concerned, and how we can utilize the atmosphere, the awakening that we have sweeping across the country, Nigeria, and by extension, Africa, so that we can, chart a path forward for our country, Nigeria. So just before we go into the conversation about youth leadership and, the strategies forward, can you just briefly tell us about your work with young people in Nigeria, in Benue State? Let's start from there.
Okay, thank you very much. My work with the young people started a very long time ago. By the time I left secondary school, I had a passion for young people. How can I get young people to do the right things at a very young age when their minds are still very young? How can they be molded in the right direction of life? And that, with that passion in mind, I joined a ministry which I grew under. It's a Christian group called the Fellowship of Christian Students. That was in 2003. I joined that group as an associate because they are in secondary schools and in the universities. So by the time you leave any of those groups, you can become
Okay, there's a network glitch on his part. So thank you all for tuning in. If you're just coming in, we're having a conversation with Honorable Ongu Angu, who is the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor of Benue State on Student Affairs. We are discussing youth leadership, the roles and strategies that we can adopt moving forward post EndSARS protest. So share this conversation, share this stream. Yeah, I think his network is okay now. So welcome back.
sorry, there's been a lot of network glitch around here.
Yeah.
So I was saying that, okay, that was when it started. I noticed a lot of young people needed to be taught at the cradle when they were still very, very young as teenagers. So I joined that ministry. I began visiting schools because part of what that ministry does is to teach young people what we call life skills. How to manage peer pressure, how to sex education, how to interact in the family, your place in the family, respect for elders, and such. So that gave me ample opportunity to begin to interact with a lot of young people at a very, early age myself, because I was less than 20, less than 18, so to say, when I started, going out to schools, talking to young people. And that progressed. While at the university, I was still visiting the schools, still keeping tabs on some of these young people. Uh, while at the university, I find myself becoming a leader. I find myself being a year one coordinator, as it were. When year one comes to school, we were there to give them guidance on, okay, this is a university, you have a lot of freedom, but unrestricted or uncontrolled freedom will not make you, if you look at the freedom you have at the university, you will not be able to achieve the aims and objectives while you are at the university. So we did that. And by the time we left the university, even while one served, one was privileged to be in leadership, both at my CDS HIV and AIDS, then it was still very prevalent. HIV and AIDS club, as it were. We went around schools setting up HIV and AIDS club. And what we're doing was not too different from what I had already known from the FCS. We're teaching young people life skills, sex education, how to manage peer pressure, how to know your uniqueness as a person, that you know that you are unique as a person. So I was doing that, and I have been doing it, so to say. So different responsibilities, from the church to the secular world. I have taught leadership development at a Central Bank of Nigeria and Entrepreneurship Development Center. I was one of the instructors with the one in the North Central that was located in Benue State, Makurdi, Benue State. I was one of the instructors. So we're teaching young people leadership development, and even out of there, organizing seminars for young people. I've organized quite a number of seminars on leadership development, and even hosted several online webinars, just like this one, on leadership development, particularly during this COVID-19 period. We were trying to look at how can we use technology since COVID-19 came. How can technology be a tool to drive, development in Africa and in Nigeria, as it were? So, being a senior special assistant to the governor on student affairs, young people, it gives me another opportunity to work with these young people, bring about a new value reorientation among our young people, to be able to offer leadership, So that has been a brief of my work with young people, offering leadership at different levels. Time will fail us to begin to talk about, the several leadership positions I am holding currently, even those I've heard before, working with young people. So basically, this is in the nutshell, my experience working with young people so far. And I said it's really been exciting. We've had a lot of testimonies. We have a lot of people call, I wanted to be my mentor, I wanted to be my this, I wanted to be my that. And as such, we are praying for God to help us further from where He helped us to where we are now, so that we will continue to offer quality leadership to our young people and the many young people that are looking up to us for leadership. So basically, that's what I would say for now. The journey so
Okay.
far.
All right, thank you so much. In your introduction, we mentioned that you're the senior special assistant to the governor of Benue State on student affairs, and that gives
Very
you,
well.
the responsibility of working with a large number of young people, at tertiary, and I assume even at the secondary level, and also
Level.
so
Yeah.
far, would like to know, how has what has been your observation as far as working with these young people in terms of their perception about leadership in Nigeria?
Leadership has been bastardized. And a lot of our young people have a very wrong perspective to what leadership is. But from where we learned from, we learned that leadership is service. And that is really, really lacking in our young people. And most of our young people that aspire to be leaders are aspiring to be leaders so that they can be served. It is not for they to serve the people. So that needs to change. That has to change. And, they're just saying some are born leaders, some are trained to be leaders, and some, leadership is conferred on them. So there is every need for we to train our young people to have the right perspective, the right attitude to leadership. So my perspective, what I've seen generally among our young people is most of our young people are yet to understand that leadership is about service to other people. And that, as I've said before, needs to change. We need to give them a new value reorientation. We need to give them a new reorientation about what leadership is. And by the time we do that, Africa, Nigeria, the world will be better.
Okay. Seems like there's a glitch on his network again.
No, I'm listening.
Interesting.
I'm with you. No glitch here. Yeah, I'm with you.
Oh, okay. Interesting observation there. So, and you see, what you've said is actually what a lot of people have been saying, especially in the wake of this end SARS protest that has been going on, in Nigeria. A lot of people have been asking this question that young people are out on the streets now, protesting, demanding for an end to SARS, and demanding an end to bad, governance. But agitating that they are going to take power, they want to take leadership roles and all. But are young people actually ready? From your observation with, the end SARS protest, how people, young people organized and, demonstrated leadership with as far as coordinating the protest and making, their demands heard and all. Do you think, in your opinion, that young people in Nigeria are actually ready to take on, the leadership of this country?
Yeah, very good question. And it shouldn't be a yes or no answer. I want to say what culminated, what peaked to what will later become what the end SARS protest is, were a series of agitation that I've personally been involved in putting the leadership of the Nigerian government on its toes on several issues. Several issues that will put the Nigerian government on its toes. Was it the social media bill? Was it the invasion of the National Assembly by members of the DSS? Is it herdsmen crisis? So several of these issues we put the Nigerian government on its toes. And it has not been just a few individuals, a few young people. I can make bold to mention my elder brother, Deji Adeyanju. I can mention one of my elder brother, Prince Shield, Henry Shield. I can mention Ariyo, Shegun Ariyo. I can mention a few of those ones. I can also mention
Okay, so for those of you who just joined us, we are having conversation on leadership. What we can do, how we can utilize the leadership ingenuity that Nigerian youth have demonstrated. Okay, so he's back.
Yeah, so I can mention all of these persons that have been in the forefront of pressurizing the government to do the right thing. I remember 3 years ago, we were at the Libyan embassy to say, look, Nigerians cannot continually be treated as animals in other countries in Africa. We are the giant of Africa, come on. When it was the social media bill. And I also want to mention Segi, Mr. Segi Awosanya, Shegun Awosanya, the one that started the End SARS movement. So I want to say, mentioning these people, these are people that have offered great leadership in leading a leaderless movement, so to say. They've been consistent. Deji himself have been to prison several times. He's been over even trump up charges of terrorism. That's Deji Adeyanju. And several other young people like that have been to prison because of what they stood for. And that has, cascaded. That has peaked. That has culminated into what we are seeing now. That what we are calling the End SARS movement. So people have been to prison. It didn't just start in a day. Young people have been putting pressure on this government over the issue of herdsmen crisis, the social media bill, police brutality, and several of those issues. So I want to say, in a way, we are prepared for leadership, right? But It is a few. So we don't just want a few to be prepared for leadership. We want that a majority of the Nigerian youth should become politically conscious more than we are now. Because a lot of our young people have this sit down and look attitude to leadership. Consign me. But first in the history of Nigeria and in my lifetime, we see a lot of young people becoming more conscious, becoming more aware that, look, it is my concern. It is my concern that it is happening in Lagos, that it is happening in Kano, that it is happening in Maiduguri. We are one. So, in a way, it seemed as if we were not prepared. But I mentioned a few examples of young people that have driven this movement over the years. Some of them have been to prison. Some of them have been intimidated. Some of them have been arrested. Some of them have been deprived of a whole lot of privileges that they would have enjoyed because of asking for good governance. So, we have garnered some benefits. We have made our voice to be known, to be heard. We have, as it were, Sorosoke. We have spoken out very loud as young people in Nigeria for our people to hear us. Those of us in the Z generation, those of us that are millennials, we've spoken out very clearly that, look, we can stand up for ourselves. So there are a lot of gains that we as a people need to go back to the drawing board and look at whatever has happened in Nigeria in the past 3 weeks or so and reorganize ourselves. I've always had a slogan that don't agonize, organize. So anytime I see an issue and I see Nigerian, our young people, talking here and there, this complaining, I say, no, don't agonize, organize. Because as soon as a people are organized, nothing can stop them.
Right.
So what happened with the NSAS movement? It is just like testing the microphone. All right. So I hope that a lot of our young people, we go back, these leaders I've mentioned, including myself, we will go back to the drawing board and make concrete demands on the system. It is not, I used to tell people when I used to post about NSAS on Facebook, I didn't join it immediately as it started, not for any reason. But right in my mind, I was like, before this NSAS, there were several other issues we've been agitating for. So if you notice, I used to say beyond NSAS. We need reforms in our educational sector, in our justice system, in our health systems, in the police reforms we are asking for, in fixing of our critical infrastructure like housing,
Healthcare.
like healthcare, roads, the rail system, the power, the electricity we are enjoying. These are critical areas that we are going to go back to the drawing board, organize, and begin to make demands on the system. We, the youths of Nigeria, of my generation, we deserve better. And most times, anytime I used to be on the street protesting or carrying out a demonstration, as it were, I used to tell myself, I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing this for the generation unborn. What America is enjoying today, what blacks are enjoying, is because of agitations of years past. It's because of some people stood up and said, look, we want reforms. Before now, women don't used to vote in America some decades ago. But what happened? One or two persons stood up. Before now, there was segregation. What happened? People like Rosa Parks stood up. And she stood up by sitting down, not to give a white man her seat on the bus. And that was where it started. So there's always a starting point. And NSAS, what we have seen in Nigeria in the past 3 weeks, is a starting point. And sorry to say that, unfortunately, because of, let me go back to the other part of the question, because of our unpreparedness, right? I don't know whether I said that correctly.
Unpreparedness.
Because of our unpreparedness. Yes, thank you for helping me with that word. Because of our unpreparedness, what happened? Hoodlums. Those that want to cause trouble and anarchy. Some persons hijacked some of the protests, and we're hearing a lot of, there was a prison break, one, and the other one was foiled. They've been looting across board, but it still boils down to the part that before now, we had not really organized ourselves into a movement. And I want to really appreciate that nobody came out to say, look, I'm the NSAS leader, movement leader, this last time. But I know that in the next phase of the struggle for a better Nigeria, leaders will emerge from each state, from everywhere, to say, look, I'm the leader of the NSAS movement. I'm the leader of the new Nigerian movement in this state, in this particular location. And more of our people will be sensitized. More of our people will be given orientation on how to go about this. So I want to say yes or no. Yes, we are prepared. No, we are also not prepared. There's so much work to be done. So much to be done to bring about consciousness in the psyche of our young people.
Okay. Thank you so much for that elaborate response. And there's while you were talking, I took note of a point you made. I want us to, elaborate further on. You talked about we not being actually prepared, to lead as Africans, as Nigerian youth. So my question is, because you said only a few people are actually prepared. So how do we get more people, prepared? How do we prepare more people? Because like you rightly noted, the work is enormous. We have a lot to do. So how do we get more young people prepared to, to take up leadership position or to join in this, movement to rebuild Nigeria?
You see, thank you for that question. For some of us, preparation is a deliberate personal effort. All right. And there are many avenues where you can decide to prepare yourself for leadership. And as I mentioned before, if you don't serve, you cannot lead. Most of our young people want to be leaders without serving. So one of the things we'll be doing is for us to go back to the drawing board, arrange mentorship programs. Where we can mentor young people in leadership. And there are many avenues where you can find mentors. You can find them in their books. One of the mentorship giants we know all over the world is someone like John C. Maxwell. Right? We have several of those people that have great, incredible programs on leadership development. And the only way to learn leadership is to serve, is to be involved, is to get your hands dirty. I know a lot of our young people say, politics is a dirty game. I don't want to belong to this. Is it not the same PDP and APC? All right. And someone told me recently that, look, when we came into the democratic dispensation, most of them saw how politicians and intellectuals were bastardized by the military era. Are you following? They saw how the military leadership of Nigeria looked down on intellectuals, looked down on people that were academics and all of that. So when this dispensation came, they refused. They that were intellectuals refused to be a part of the movement. And what happened? Half-baked people joined the line. And now that they that are intellectuals have seen that democracy have come to stay, now that they are coming to come and be a part of the democratic process, it is very difficult for them. Because the people that they were thinking didn't go to school, don't have what they have intellectually, book-wise, they were the ones that joined politics. And are the ones that are calling the shots in politics now. So they that were intellectuals, because of the experiences they had with the military regime that refused to join, are finding it very difficult to become part of the system, to even contribute positively to see how the system can be changed. So I'm calling on our young people to get involved. Go to your local government area, get a voter's card, know your party, belong to a political party, be a card-carrying member of a political party. Because I want to tell you that even the richest people you see around the world support one political party or the other, even in America. Whether you see basketballers that are celebrities supporting one political party or the other, what are we doing in Nigeria? We need to have more celebrities, as it were. We need to have more young people, as it were, identifying with one political party or the other. Even seeking for leadership positions within that political party. You can go back to your local government and be your political party's youth leader. You can go there and be, the person in charge of mobilization and contact. I'll be contact and mobilization. You can go back there and be the organizing secretary of your political party. And by then you will learn leadership. And I'm not of the school of thought that thinks we should just discard the older generation. No, I'm not of that school of thought. Right? You know why? Because we have so much to learn from their wisdom. Some of them that are genuine enough will tell you that, look, this is where we failed. We don't want you to fail. As God grants us opportunity, we sit with many of those people. They tell us that, look, we in our generation, we failed. We don't want you guys to fail. This was what we did that was wrong. So I'm not of the school of thought that thinks, okay, the older generation is trash. Let us just trample on them and move. It doesn't work like that. All right. So I believe that our young people should go into these political parties.
Okay, fam, thank you all. I can see the conversations that are going on in the chat room. Please share this stream, Let's have more people coming. You see, these are very important conversations that we as young Africans need to have, not just Nigerians. So when we are having conversations like this, we need to get more people involved, get more people to join in the conversation. So share the stream on your social media and everywhere. Let's have more people tune in to join the conversation. There's a lot we can learn from Orngu. He has experience in leadership, and he's still in leadership position now. So there's so much we can take from this conversation this evening. Yeah, so sorry for the glitch in your network. You're back.
Yeah. So as I was saying, our young people need to get involved. We cannot sit down in the corner and be organizing. Go there, get involved, be part of the party structure, political party structure, be part of the system, be part of the conversation. Whether you're an entrepreneur, because I want to say that whether I like it or not, people with political power control whatever happens. Yes, they control the system. They make the laws. They interpret. You know, you get what I'm saying? So be a part system. Just like you mentioned, whichever country you are from you from Uganda? Are you from Kenya? A young African from Kenya? Are you from the Cameroons? Are you from Ghana? Are you from Niger? Are you from Chad? Go and be a part of a political party. Go and be a part of the system. Go and be part of the conversation politically, what is happening in your country. That alone will create a political consciousness. And I want to also say that our elders are not going to be there forever. All right? Our older generation, they're not going to be there forever. And by the time they turn back, who will they hand the baton to? It's us, the young people. So we need to go under them and learn the ropes. We need to go under them for discipleship, for mentorship, so that they can mentor us, so that by the time they are no longer there, or by the time they are about to leave the stage, they'll be confident enough to hand over the baton to us because we've learned under them. So I'm charging all the youths of Africa, go back to your local government. Go and start right from your ward. I don't know how it is in your own our various countries, but in Nigeria we have, it starts at the state, it starts at the federal, the state, you go to your local government down to your council ward. That's how it is done. So I believe that our young people should go get involved in the politics, belong to a political party, be a carrying member of that political party, be also financially responsible to that political party. And with that, you can begin to make demands. You can begin to, ask for leadership.
Okay, so I'm going to come back to this point you just made. I took a note, but before we comment on this point you just made, I want to ask you a question. You were talking earlier, and we were talking about the organization as far as the EndSARS protest was concerned. How young Nigerians took unconventional leadership, approach to the whole organization and execution of the protest in the country. No one came out saying I'm the leader or not, but we saw how things were well coordinated and organized across the country, not just in Lagos. We had in other parts of Nigeria, major cities. So but while you were talking, you mentioned that, but you said that in the coming weeks or in the coming times, it's probably people will emerge to say, oh, I'm the leader of this group, I'm the leader for this movement to change Nigeria. And also would like to know, do you think it's a good idea for people to emerge and say we are leading this, or the status quo? And I mean, the unconventional leadership style that we're adopting now, nobody is coming out to say, hey, I'm the leader, should be sustained.
I don't think that is sustainable. Are you with me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
That is not sustainable at all. We cannot have a leaderless a movement. Every movement needs to have a leadership. So what I'm saying is we need to, I know that the next phase of this movement, what Nigerian youth did was just testing the mic, will be more of an intellectual movement. All right? Mm-hmm. We'll be engaging the leadership intellectually. We'll be asking for better legislation. We'll be asking that our justice system be reformed. And talking about better legislation, I want to seize this opportunity to thank my brother and friend, Itodo, Mr. Itodo of Yaga, You know, they started the Not Too Young to Run bill. They pursued that until the Buhari regime signed it into law. So that is intellectualism, all right? Where the age of for aspiring for particular leadership positions, you know, has been reduced. So that will be said. Having said that, in our next phase, hopefully, of engagement, I hope it will be something more intellectual. We'll be looking at better funding for the police. We'll be looking at how our health sector can be more funded. We'll be looking at how our educational sector can be more funded. And we'll be doing that through legislation. All right. So, having said that, and a leaderless movement will not be sustainable next time, just like it didn't sustain us this time. A leaderless movement will lose momentum. A leaderless movement will not give us a desired result. But I know for sure that in the next phase of this agitation,
there. But you think there was actually no leaders, or you know, there was just no one person identifying as as a leader of the movement? Because what we saw with the organization,
there were leaders. There were leaders, but you cannot say this was a person that started this last round of protests. I don't know whether you know the person that started this last round of protests that culminated to people all over Nigeria demanding for NSAS movement.
Yes,
you cannot pinpoint that. But there were leadership, as I mentioned, Mr. Segi, you know, Shegun Awonsanya, you know, he is the leader of the NSAS movement. He'd been agitating for the reform of the Nigerian police. He'd been doing that over time. But it came to a point that a movement is most time become bigger than the person that started the movement. Are you listening?
Yes.
So the movement became bigger than him as a person. And him himself also knew that he cannot stand up and say, I am the... Because maybe on his own, he may want to say, okay, guys, let's go home. But it is beyond him. That's to tell you that it wasn't just about NSAS that made Nigerian youth to be on the street. If it were just about NSAS was SARS, the SARS unit of the Nigerian police was disbanded, was dissolved. All right? We would have gone home. But because there are more weightier issues that made the Nigerian youth to be on the street, it wasn't enough for the government to have said they ended SARS and the Nigerian youth would have gone off the street. Are you following? Nigerian youths have been frustrated. Nigerian youth and other youths in Africa have been dehumanized. Are you following me?
Yes.
Hello. So
yes, I can hear you. I'm with you.
Other youths in Nigeria of Africa have been dehumanized. We have been looked down upon. Take, for instance, the issues of ASU, the National Association of Senior University Lecturers or something, Union of University Lecturers. What happens? What happens? Nigerian youth, our students have been at home for a very long time. Take, for instance, the hunger and poverty in Nigeria. Take, for instance, taxation. Take, for instance, one of the banners said, our senators, the jumbo pay they take home. Are you following me?
Yes.
Hello? The
Yes,
jumbo
yes, I
pay
can hear you.
senators. Are you with me? So
Yes, yes, go on.
there were more critical issues that made the Nigerian youths to remain on the street even after the disbandment of SARS. So those are the issues that I expect that by the time a leadership will emerge to the new Nigerian movement, it will not just be about NSAS. It will be issues that we make demands that these issues will become legislations. We've heard of monies being stolen from our NHIS, our
He's probably having a network glitch again. Like I'm sure you're all enjoying the conversation. I can see the chats that are going on in the chat room. Thank you all so much for being part of the conversation. Like I said, share the stream. Let's have more people in the house. I'll soon open the lines for anyone who wants to
not just
join,
about NSAS.
contribute any whatever point of views or opinions they have. So stay tuned. I'll be dropping the stream once we hit 1 hour. I'll be dropping the link rather. So stay tuned. Yes, Ongu, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, you were making a point. Now, you said when I talked about the leadership, a leader emerging, to lead the movement, you said a leadershipless, let me put it that way, a movement without a leader is not sustainable, and that unconventional leadership style will not sustain the movement. But there's been fears expressed by some Nigerians, and rightly so, because we have antecedents of issues where leaders get compromised. So a lot of Nigerians are expressing the fear that if someone emerges as a leader of this movement, there are chances that the person might be compromised. You know how the political class try to compromise us. So what do you think? Do you share the same fear, or should I say concern, that if a leader emerges, there are chances that the person might be compromised and the movement will not carry on?
About issues of being compromised, you see, that was what, as I mentioned, it was like testing the microphone. Are you following me?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, for Nigerian particularly, we had what we called 5 for 5.
Mm-hmm.
When the Nigerian police came out and gave 5 things they've done by the time SARS was disbanded, we, the youths, also gave them their own 5 demands that should be met. And this youth, the protests, come to think of it, it wasn't against the Nigerian police, as it were.
Yes.
The youth were agitating for even better welfare. I saw videos that these protesting young people were carrying out welfare services, were servicing even the policemen that were on ground with them, and giving them cold water to drink, giving them snacks, giving them. I heard of a story that in the federal capital of Nigeria, Abuja, by the time these protesters were approaching, a traffic warden, he wanted to run away. He took to his heels, but they called him back. They gave him a cold drink, they gave him a snack, and from the story, they said the man broke down in tears. So we are all in this together. The decay, the rot we are seeing in the Nigerian system affects all of us across board, even the police people. So our young people are not against Nigeria as a country. the demand of the young people is a demand for a better country. About compromise, I don't think anybody that we want to emerge as a leader of the movement today, we want to compromise. Why do I say that? The backlash on the street will be so much that you will not have to compromise or disappoint Nigerians. Me and you, we've been here when Nigerians lost football matches. How street urchins will locate the person that was responsible, they think is responsible for that loss. They locate their houses and even burn them down. It has happened in Nigeria before. To tell you how passionate the Nigerian youth are about, their country. And throughout these demonstrations and protests, I have never heard the Nigerian national anthem being sung beautifully. You see how young people were singing our national anthem with so much pride, with so much patriotism in their voice. And I want to tell you that anybody that will emerge as a leader of the new Nigerian movement, will not, as a matter of fact, want to compromise on the demands of Nigerians, because the backlash on that person will not be good.
Yes, I think I agree with you to some extent, because I know that when the NSAS protests started, there were reports that some of those people who were identified as the organizers of the movement were called for an impromptu, virtual meeting. And in that meeting, they met with some big men, and the allegation was that they promised to give them huge amounts of money for them to call off the protest and, go back home. Without the government, that was before the government made a commitment to meet the demands. But these, these leaders rejected the offer and sustained the protest and all. So I also believe that at this time that we are all at now, as Nigerians, as young Nigerians, nobody would want to be compromised, because the consequence in quotes is going to be too grievous for one person to bear. Because like I said earlier, it's just this awakening. Nigerian youth have had enough. People just want better, and people already talking about the future come 2023. And that leads us to the next question that I wanted to ask you. You talked about the need and the importance of young people joining political parties in their communities, going to their wards to be card-bearing members of political parties, registering, and all of that, taking up leadership position even at the ward levels or in their party, so that they can acquire their experience. But a lot of people have been of the opinion that these political parties that we have in existence now do not, have ideologies that meet the present-day demands of Nigerians. Some people even say these political parties do not have ideologies, so it is best for young people, young Nigerians, to form a new political party that, speaks about our ideology and our hope and plan for the future. What's your position on that?
See, my position on that is this laughter. I'm laughing now. My position is this laughter. We get too exuberant as young people. And I want to term it youthful exuberance. When most of our young people say, PDP, APC have failed us. You see, our young people go from these political parties, but they have no structure. They don't even cover the 36 states that make up Nigeria. I'm not kidding you. They don't have a structure that is from the national down to the world level. Are you following me?
Yes.
So my advice now, okay, is that our young people should join already established political parties and leverage. That's what in leadership that's all called leveraging, even in business. When I teach business management and business development, that is what we call leveraging. So we need to join these older political parties and leverage on their sizes and their organization that they've already had on ground. Not to go and form much-room political parties that don't even have structures at the federal, at the state, and even at the local government level. So our young people need to be guided correctly. Are you listening? It is people that make up those political parties, crying out loud. I don't know what people that make up that political parties. So if you think you have something to offer, go join these older political parties. And as I've said before, I am not part of the movement that think we should just discard the older people to go and sleep. We have so much to learn from the older generation. We need to keep them there and learn from their wisdom. We need to keep them there and learn from their experiences. We cannot say, oh, we are fed up with you guys. Oh, go to sleep. So my advice is say, okay, they say PDP, APC is the same. It's not the same. It is never the same. It is people that make up these political parties. So don't go. I see a lot of political parties on social media now. A few of them inviting me to come and be part of what they are doing, but I'm not going there. You know why? I don't want to go and be a part of a mushroom thing. I'm not going to be part of a thing that disappears after elections. Most of these political parties are talking of organizing now, fizzle out during elections. Right now, me and you only know that because of some obvious reasons. We know that it's because PDP, we know that it's APC, we know that it's ABGA. And which other political party do you know again as a person? You understand?
I don't know.
We have APC,
okay, but
PDP, and ABGA.
But don't you think
those are the parties that come to mind immediately? So I want to advise our young people to go even join these 3 political parties I've mentioned and strengthen them. In America, there are just 2 political parties. I want to tell you that in the next 100 years, from now, no other political party, mark my words, will come and be able to take away the numbers these 3 political parties I've mentioned have, or 2, APC and PDP in Nigeria. Somebody will say, okay, there can be a merger, just like the APC merged with several other political parties, you know, the ACN, the CPC, and many other political parties who form the APC. But I want to say, moving forward, it becomes very difficult. PDP has been able to stand the test of time for the past 20 plus years. For close to 22 years now, PDP has been on ground. Right? And that is how it will remain. So I don't want young people coming to come out of exuberance, so to say, out of emotion. We just want to be emotional. I am not emotional about, I'm not emotional to the extent of trying to join any youth bandwagon in the name that we want to take over leadership. All right? If I'm going to join a political party as a person, I will join a political party that has existing structures.
But
you don't go and reinvent the wheel. You cannot go and reinvent the wheel. I'm listening.
Yeah, I share your sentiments. But the thing is, the general sentiment across the country is the fact that these 2 political parties that you've just alluded to, APC and PDP, have been in existence for a while now, especially the PDP, and the you know, the politicians or the leaders that have have led this country in the past years leading up to this time. Some were members of the PDP, who have now moved to APC, and vice versa. So the status quo has basically been the same. A lot of people have the opinion that they've not really led us as a country to, that promised land that all of us wanted to get to. So if young people are going to join these parties, it's like, putting new wine into an old wine skin. They no concrete ideologies, and young people who have the leadership skills and the innovative ideas that they would want to apply in moving this country forward might not have the the opportunity to express themselves, given the structures, of course, that you've alluded to previously, because these parties already have leadership structures and leaders.
Let me confront you about that.
Okay, go on.
The Oyo State Speaker is a young man that is under 35. Benue State, where I come from, my brother and friend, Right Honorable Tekimbi Kangi, was a speaker under 35. At 32, he became the speaker. At 33, he became the speaker of the Benue State House of Assembly. Right now, my brother and friend, he won the election at the African Development Party, ADP, ADC, Congress. He won the Shisha State constituency in Benue State. He is 28 years old.
Sorry, everybody, for that glitch, that network glitch. These are some of the things you have to deal with in Nigeria.
Those are some of the issues here we have to contend with and see that they are fixed. He won election at 26. So what are we talking about? Our young people need to get involved. If that young man he wanted to contest election on the platform of the PDP. What happened? They pushed him out. He went and contested on the platform of the ADC. He won. So I can see Lydia or Yetunji, I can see several of your comments, about our leaders stifling, stifling the potentials of our youth. That is why we need to take our country back and get involved. We need to get involved in the leadership conversation. We need to get involved in what is happening. So it's not about APC, it is not about PDP, it's about the people that we've allowed over time as young people to. Someone said older people should not be given opportunity, but I said no. We have older people that are smart. We have older people that personally I consider them to be gateways. I consider them to be gatekeepers of this country. All right?
All right. I'm going to drop the link now.
Wait. Let me conclude one of my concluding thoughts is we cannot say PDP and APC are very bad. Are you following me? It is people in that those political parties that make it bad. The GSM we are enjoying today, it was during that we got the GSM. It was during the PDP government. All right. So we have the AGMIs, people are getting a lot of loans in Nigeria now. It is through an APC government. I'm saying business loans across, board. I just mentioned one of the benefits that the APC got, the PDP gave us. GSM. And the PDP, while they were there, they were building institutions. The Independent Corrupt Practices Commission, the ICPC, was an invention of the PDP government. The Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, which is an institution of government to deal with financial crime, was put in place by a PDP government.
But do you think that these institutions are effective in carrying out their constitutional?
Thank you very much. It is now behoves on us as young people to go back to the drawing board, look at the existing laws that establish these institutions, and see how we can bring about change, and see how we can make demands that, look, this is also clause of the law establishing the EFCC, of the law establishing IPC, or all of these institutions. This law needs to be reviewed. It behoves on us as young people. This APC government established the Nisai Microfinance Bank, you know, that has branches in every state in Nigeria, and they've been dishing out loans to Nigerians. So all of these are not bad in itself. All the political parties are not bad. It's our laws, our policies. What is our health policy? What is our educational policy? What is our electricity generation policy? So we need to go back to the drawing board as young people to pressurize the system, to put pressure on the system. That, look, our policies need to be people-friendly. People need to be streamlined to benefit the people of Nigeria. Our constitution needs to be a people's constitution. We knew that our constitution was drafted during a military era, and that was drafted to suit, you know, the military people that were living power then, because they still wanted to be relevant, because most of them knew they will still have to remain one or two persons to be in power. Hello? Are you following me, Nigerians? If you are following me, I'm actually looking at the comments we are making. If you are still following me, just say hi. Because my host is no longer there, and I'm not sure Nigerian youths are following, and youths across Africa, they are following me. If you are still following me, say hi. Thank you very much. Temilade Alamuddin. Thank you. I can see that we are still following. Our constitution needs to be reviewed, needs to be reformed. Thank you. I can see. So it is not about we saying we should, all the political parties are bad. They are not totally bad. It's the people, the laws, the policies. Because most of these policies are the ones that have made Nigeria to be handicapped today. Just like Aye Decoder is saying, let the youth prepare for 2018. They can join any political party to win election across the country. If they can win even half of the members of both houses, that would be a good start for the youth. Very well. So it is not about getting emotional that we'll go and start our own political party. I will not be a party to it. But let's join these existing structures and make a mark. There are several examples across Nigeria like that, of young people joining these already established political parties. And all of these people I mentioned from my own state didn't have godfathers. Sorry to say. People that I know their story, that are stories from grass to grace. I know their stories very well. I know where they're coming from. In court, we were hustlers on the streets together. Young graduates that felt they can offer leadership, and they became part of the system. So my advice to youth across Nigeria, youth across Africa is, let's identify this political party. If you want to join the APC, good and fine for you. If you want to join the PDP, good and fine. And let's get in there, go to your ward, let your ward chairman know you. I call my ward chairman often, we communicate. Let your local government chairman, party chairman know you. Make yourself visible. Visibility is key in the 21st century as millennials and even the Z generation. Be known by your politician. Don't shy away from them. Don't say, oh, they are snobbish, they are that. And by doing that, you now stay aloof. They will continue to mess you up as an intellectual. So if you think you have something to offer, join the process, learn the ropes, be humble enough to be taught. So America has more, I know very well, America has more than 2 political parties. They are monetized so that I can hear about them, like the Democrats, and very well, I know about that. And they have independent candidature. That is what we have been agitating in Nigeria too, that we needed to have independent candidature. Okay, Flower Mao. A man who is not a true patriot cannot be a gatekeeper of a country and its people. There is a huge difference between being a leader of a leader of man and a leader of the people. It is best to have a leader of the people. Example, Kagame. Kagame is doing a good work in Rwanda. I've been to Kigali once, and beautiful country, one of the neatest capitals on the earth as we speak, who are true change makers for their people and their land. Those are the kind of leaders we are talking about. And how old is, what's his name, Paul Kagame? Paul Kagame, I think, is 80 years, but is doing a great job in fixing Rwanda. Sorry, Eunice, you said you cannot access this. Okay, you said they are not monetized. Oh, PG rated. I want to say politics all over the world is monetized, sir. Through those donations, you see people make a lot of donations. And maybe if you want to say monetize, is to say that people don't buy votes, how we do in Nigeria or in Africa, or people don't use guns. But you see, at that level, the battle is beyond guns and snatching of ballot boxes. And if you are following the news very well, you will see that, they're talking about interference from Russia, they're talking about interference from Iran, they're talking about interference from China. So those are the real issues. Someone, TB Dan, is talking about corruption. Corruption is a very big problem, but we are the people that endanger corruption. And it's because of our laws. Our laws have made our leaders to become demagogues. So by the time our laws are changed, by the time our policy documents are made to be more people-friendly around Africa, we will have great nations. We will have beautiful countries around Africa. So let our policies be about the people. So when our laws are being written, let it be about the people. Yeah, you mentioned great word, lobbyists, people that lobby. And it's not any different from what people do in Africa. So I want to thank you very much for your time. My host is not here again, but I want you to keep bringing those questions. Keep bringing those questions for us to have this conversation going. Let me go back. Okay, Olamide Adela. Yeah, nobody knows the future. I think that was a very sweeping statement I made. Anything can happen in the future.
Okay, Ongo, I'm so sorry. My network disconnected me and I've been struggling to reconnect back since. I really don't know what happened. It just went off.
Welcome back.
So hold the board and continue with the conversation.
Hello, we are here. The real danger is known. Thank you, Ines from Mavatikwa. Thank you from Congo RDC. You're welcome. What do we think about communism as a system of government? It has worked for China, but you want to be a Chinese citizen where your human right is abused. Everything have its drawbacks. The Chinese community is not an open society as we have in other parts of the world. So be careful what you wish for. The real danger is known is corruption, but the solutions exist. The solutions exist. Okay, MTN is messing. I've been struggling too. Is that right? I'm using Airtel. Airtel has been incredible over the years with me. For over 8 years now, I've been using Airtel, and it's been really, really incredible. So I'd like you to bring the questions coming. Afrogenic, you're welcome. Franklin, hello. PG Rated, welcome. PG Rated, you're welcome. Olamide, welcome. Doreen, welcome. Doreen again. Unisori. Kabwe. Beth Kabwe, you're welcome. Laura Ma, welcome.
Holding the fort for me. Network is really messy here. I don't know why my network has decided to be so messy this evening. Yes,
what
MTN
network are you using?
MTN.
MTN is not, most time it's not good for me. I've been using Airtel. Sorry, we're advertising. I have to advertise for Airtel for over 8 years now, and their failure rate it's low.
Okay, I see you are carrying on the conversation. Oh, Franklin is here. Hi, Franklin. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, Franklin is here.
Yes, you know Franklin.
Mavatikwa. No, I don't know him. I'm following the comments. I was responding to most of what was being said on the comment.
Okay.
Okay. Ines Mavatikwa is asking, what do you think about the Rwanda and the Congo?
Goodness.
And 8
hello,
or so.
I can see you.
If I remember very well,
Ongu, thank you so much. I want to ask you one last question, then we can probably just take, I will let you respond to the comments, or we'll also open up the, the stream for anyone who would like to join us on the stream. So just before we do that, I would like to know, for you to suggest to us some strategies that can be adopted to, push this agenda for rebuilding a new Nigeria. What strategies would you suggest? Be they leadership, be they communication, just leadership strategies generally. Oh my God. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat room. If you can hear me, just type yes. If you can still hear me, type yes.
Now. So, okay, trying to answer your question, both countries have been through very serious conflict. They fought very difficult civil wars. and the worst hit was Rwanda, the Hutu and the Tutsi, genocide that took place. But I see that these countries are rebuilding very well, and I want to advise our young people to take position of leadership, not take sides. They should be for their own country. They should not take sides with any politician to pull down their own country. They should work for the development of their own of their countries. Othais Unit is asking, can you get into political office without joining the Nigerian National NYC, which is the National Youth Service Corps, or having a degree? Very well. Some positions just require you having a primary school certificate. Yes. These are the things that need to change in our constitution, in our laws. Because why these laws were being set up, they were being set up by the military to favor them, because they know they were going to become part of the political process through the back door.
Okay, it seems like Ongu is experiencing a glitch now. I can see he's already responding to your
network
questions in the chat room. Afrogenic.
Yeah, I'm following the questions.
So, opportunity, so if you like to join the conversation, glitch is, I would like for him to respond to the last question before I'll drop
and I think why a lot of people praise fraudsters is
just for him to suggest to us some strategies that we can adopt as young Nigerians in this new awakening, and the drive to rebuild Nigeria. What strategies can we adopt? For those of you in the chat room as well, if you have any suggestions, you can drop your comments, and then
yes, what strategies?
Network, leave me alone.
As well, get an altar for yourself. What strategies? One of the strategies I've mentioned so strongly is join a political party, be part of the system, organize yourself. You can call 1-2 of your friends, start up something, begin to pressurize for policy change. You can start at your state house of assembly. You can start with your state or legislature, that's the senator representing you, or your member of parliament. You can start with your House of Representative member. You see a clause in the Nigerian constitution that is anti-people. You can call your senator, form yourself into a group, a pressure group, and call your senator and say, look, we want this laws change. You begin to agitate, you begin to push for it. So we need to start up issues, a conversation around issues that affect the generality of the people. We can go look into our constitution. Maybe on our stream now we have lawyers or medical doctors.
I apologize deeply for this glitch. You see, these are some of the challenges we are facing that would need change. Like we deserve stable internet, we deserve stable network. We are living in the digital era where a lot of our businesses and our ventures are digital, so we need good network, we need good internet and services and all. So these are some of the things that we need change.
Afrogenic, just
internet mind yourself, connectivity, so that we can do our businesses.
Afrogenic is laughing at me.
you
After
know, this
advertising for Airtel, Airtel is
because of
now
network
after
glitch.
my head, you know. But you can see that Grace glitch past my own. Oh. My own small, it take happen. You see, Grace is now gone. But you know, someone is mentioning having a social welfare system. You know, very, very important. Very, very important for us to identify the poorest of the poorest. So let me thank you for that question. You know, the poorest of the poorest, and be able to deal with poverty in the land, because poverty has been weaponized. You know, poverty has been weaponized by leadership. They're using poverty to, you know, get to the people. That is why when times comes for election, they can go and give the people peanuts and buy their vote. So just like you said, we need to have a social welfare scheme or system that takes care of the people. And I also want to say, what are we doing about our aged people in Nigeria that cannot take care of themselves? You know, so these are issues that we need to begin to see how they can be put into a policy, how they can be put into law. You know, someone said, you know, it's a very dangerous situation, you know, having many poor people in the country. Very dangerous, very dangerous. And we've warned over time that, look, this poverty that is happening, this thing that is happening, none of us is safe, because we have already warned the rich of Nigeria that, look, and the rich in Africa that, look, if nothing is done, these poor people, our political leaders have created, we wake up one day, I want to eat them up, and it is happening already. So we need to wake up. Yes, this kind of education, we need schools starting from junior secondary school. Let's teach our constitution or our rights to demand accountability. Very well, Temilade. Very well. Those are the issues we're talking about. We need to build confidence in our young people. We need to teach the Nigerian constitution to our young people, even at the cradle, even at the secondary school level. It shouldn't be just when you are in senior secondary school that they begin to teach you about the Nigerian constitution, or it's just one course you take. So people begin to learn about the constitution, why they are, you know, so that our young people can begin to demand accountability from their leaders, those that are representing them. I always question, what kind of trainings does an officer actually receive here in America and abroad, because they don't seem to have much education required. Very true. There is need for training and retraining of officials with global best practices, because year in, year out, global best practices on service delivery are up, are there in the field. There are new research, ongoing research that our people need to learn on service delivery. Do you think religion and slave mentality is also a reason why Africa is the way it is? Very well. Religion, someone said, is the opium of the people. Because someone said, it's for my religion, it's for my tribe. And just like you mentioned, slave mentality. Africans, we feel we are not enough. We feel that the person with a white skin is better than we are. That has to stop. Hungry, what is the excuse for the palliatives? I don't know what the excuse is. I don't know why. I want to confidently say that for my own state, you will not go to any of the warehouses and find the palliatives. They were distributed to all the local governments. You know, so I find it very difficult when people are very hungry and these palliatives are hoarded. You hoard it in warehouses. It's not correct.
Okay.
Which government should be held accountable for the withhold?
So much.
Not only poverty, my financial, but poverty of the mind.
I'm grateful,
That is
super
it. We need to
grateful
enlighten our people more.
for
So
holding the
thank you,
fort.
Grace.
So no, you are not going yet. Sorry. I asked a question. I don't know if you answered it while my network disconnected me.
I did.
You
I did
know,
answer.
talking about the
I did
strategies.
answer it.
Okay,
The strategy is we should
okay,
organize
all right.
ourselves. We should join political parties. We should form pressure groups. You know what they call NGO.
Okay.
You know, I mentioned what Samson Itodo did with Yega as it relates to the not too young to run bill. We can also look at some clauses in our constitution, form pressure groups, and make demands on the Nigerian government through the legislature to see how, you know, we can have better legislation and, you know, better policy formulations and implementation that will favor the Nigerian people. Hello.
All right.
So thank you very much. A social protection system is not only necessary but possible in all countries with young population. Yeah.
That's
the social welfare
it seems
of our
it's
people.
glitch too.
Thank you. Poverty is not actually the problem, but believing your people can rise from it.
Internet
It is an
today is
issue.
just
Very well,
messy.
PG. Thank you, PG. Targeting people because they afford good shoes, and it's a mess up of a mindset. Very, very well. We need to have leaders that can take the people out of poverty, and education is very critical. And even information communication technology is very critical that our Nigerian, our African leadership can use, just like China. China was nowhere to be found a few years ago, but they invested in a tech city where Huawei and all of them is now. I've forgotten the name of the tech city, but I'm aware they invested about 3-point-something billion US dollars in that tech city. Today, that tech city is worth over 330 billion US dollars. So we can talk to our leaders. They should invest in technology. They should invest in education, because education is one of the surest way in ending poverty among the people.
I have a question based on the education that you spoke about.
All right.
Based on the education, some of the audience may say that the education that we get is not not correct education. We're supposed to get education that is based on African history, to do with Africa.
Education that has to do with Africa.
Do you think that the education that we get as African from diaspora, is it the correct education that we get?
Okay, no education is wasted, huh? No education is wasted. But I want to say that the problem with the education we get is how can it be applied to better the lives of the life of humanity. So if we are learning history, if we are learning information communication technology, if you are learning economics, if you are learning agriculture, how is it going to improve the living standard of Africans? So it's not that we get Americanized education. It's not that we get Europeanized education or Asianized education. How can this education we are getting, how can we translate it to better the lives of the African people? That is what should be the question behind the kind of education we are getting anywhere. Okay, I'm a food science technologist. I read food science and technology as my first degree at the university. How is that translating to me helping my community, immediate community, in post-harvest losses, in preservation? How am I doing that? So our target to the education we are getting as Africans is how we can translate this education to improve the lives of our fellow Africans. That should be what we should be doing. How can we transform this education to improve the lives of African people?
Hello. Grace, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So I'm listening to what he's saying.
It's unfortunate that my network is active on me, so I appreciate that Ongu is already.
Okay, can you please ask your question? Yeah.
So
holding a conversation. I don't want to interrupt him. So I just.
Do you know that we don't need even the 3 years of Buhari that is remaining?
Can you ask your question?
I'm making a contribution, not a question. So even the 3 years of Buhari that is remaining is too far for as long as for Nigerians. You understand me? So I said this the last time we met here, that we are supposed to, Nigeria is supposed to invest in education. This is what is going to uplift Nigeria. So it's just people demonstrating, and you went there shooting them for what? This is the best protest I've ever seen. People protesting, and in the evening they clean up everywhere. They protested. You understand me? You went there and shoot. You shoot the people. You shot them. This is it's outrageous. Well, we are
So
saying,
my friend, hello. What
yeah.
are you doing for those dead people to get justice?
What am I
So
doing?
I've always been of the yes, I've always been of the opinion that enough of agonizing. We can agonize from here till daybreak. All right. But we need to organize ourselves.
Yes,
and to see how those people that were killed, what are we going to do? What are you going to do as a person for them to get justice?
This is the support we are saying. This is why everybody contributed during this protest. You understand me? This is how we can.
I know what I'm saying. But answer my question. What are you doing as a person to put pressure on government?
At the moment, I'm not in Nigeria.
To see, I know you don't need to be in Nigeria. So you don't need to be in Nigeria to put pressure on government for those people to get justice.
Can you let me talk? When the protest started, people were contributing. You understand me? This is the support people from outside can give to those at home. You give them morale. You understand
what morale? Now that people are dead, my opinion is enough of agonizing. All right. How can we organize for them to get justice? We have videos.
Yes.
We have people come out interviews of what happened. How can we take it to international organizations?
We have
the International Criminal Court. Listen to me. We have the International Criminal Court. We have the United Nations Human Rights Watch. We have Amnesty. What are we doing to have a common front as African youth to take what happened at the Lekki toll gate to this organization, so that the Nigerian government, the officials and the Nigerian government, the chief of army staff or whoever ordered those soldiers to be there, for our fallen heroes to get justice. We give them morale, good and fine. Yes, but after they've died,
yes,
they've died, what are we going to do to get them justice? That is what we should be talking about.
Yes, that is what we should be talking about. We have people who are representing at home. The support we here can give is enablement. That is what I'm saying. With the small contribution we are making, the people back home, they can take this case up until we also maybe we join them later. For now, I cannot be in Nigeria. So this is
okay. Thank you. Any other question?
Yeah, this is what I think we can do. So
I agree with you totally. We need to invest in education.
Yes,
we need to give people the best education they can.
We should join the political party. I don't think joining political party right now is the answer. We are supposed to form our own political party. That is
okay.
Yes. This is what I think is going to happen, and it will happen like that. We need to fight for our own political party, bring out a candidate, then we all, the youth, we support the candidate. This is what I think that is going to work out, because the 3 years of Buhari that is remaining is far. It's too far. Nigeria needs change. We need change in that country.
Someone is asking.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Grace, for having me here. It's been a very robust conversation.
I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. Just
but of course, why not? Young people can demand for constitutional.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, we can demand for it. This is what we are saying. The senators are just there allocating money for themselves. They are not doing nothing. They are just sitting down there. Every month, these people take over 3 million every month. This is a poor country that you are not even getting nothing. The cost of governance is too much. This is what young people to agitate for also.
I have a question as well. Based on everything you guys said, what do you guys think about? Okay, I believe that education is important, and we should get elected and we should get educated. But I wanted to ask that uncle that just left was here before. What do you think about black economy? Because you guys always talk about education, but you guys are forgetting about black economy, um black money. What do you think about black money? I think these are the things that we don't get taught, especially out in schools or in our home. We don't get taught that about circulating money in our own community. So what do you think about that? Yeah, you can answer as well.
Yeah, circulating what? I don't understand what you mean.
I mean, like, what do you think about? Okay, you know how you guys are discussing money, education. What do you guys think about black? We as young generation being taught about black economy, black money at schools.
Well,
Hello.
this is what we are saying. You understand? This is what we are saying, that our educational system back home in Africa is in shambles. So even common histories they are supposed to teach. They are not teaching all those, It's this is why we are demanding for investment in education. It is very, very important. They are not teaching nothing. So black education and black money that you are talking about is something that I don't even know how we can go about it, but I think for me, I think education is the power today that we need in that country. We are intelligent people in Nigeria, honestly. Just a little push. A little push. That is what we need.
All
Everything
right.
will just
Thank you all so much for staying tuned. My network is playing hide and seek with me. Aunt Flo is in the house. Welcome, Aunt Flo.
Hello, how are you? Hello, everyone. My problem with education,
yeah.
is that there are too many Nigerians with degrees who do not have jobs. There is no point sorting out an education system when the government itself has not done what is necessary to ensure that there are jobs for these graduates after they finish their NYSC. Okay, there's no point screaming about education. You're educating somebody, but if they remain 5 years, 10 years, 15 years unemployed, what do you the result of that be? It will be frustration. It will either be frustration, crime, or trying to get across the desert to go to a different country when your country actually has opportunities. If you look at people like Dangote and all these people, they stayed in Nigeria and they made their money in Nigeria. They didn't seek to go across the country, hold on, let me finish. But they made their money, they came back home and they invested in it back home. So as far as I'm concerned, people talk about education, but to what point? In the West, when they educate their people, yet the government assists other businesses to create apprenticeships and create jobs for these people to be able to be employed. So why is it that Africa has failed that? We have politicians in Africa who have been educated abroad. So when they were abroad, I don't understand. You know, some of them was in some of the best schools that people dream, pray, and beg to go into. I myself, okay, I don't like to reveal things, but I myself have paid for brilliant 15-year-old Nigerians with bachelors. That's how highly intelligent these children were. To come to UCL, to end up in Cambridge, to end up in Oxford with a bunch of well-meaning diasporans. You understand? And that thing really ticks me off, because if Kagame has enough intelligence to see the value of diamonds that God has blessed.
Uh-oh, Auntie, we can't hear you.
The internet is acting up. She's still making a point. My device is disconnected.
Yeah, what
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah, the lady was just saying that, you know, instead of this education we are talking about, that job, she preferred job to education. We are not talking about, they are all important. But if you look at Nigerian society, you see what is happening. People prefer to take 1,500. An educated man will not do that to vote. You take 1,500 naira, 4,000 naira from a politician, you vote for them.
In Nigerian society,
An education man will not. Somebody that is educated will not do that. This is why I'm talking about education. If we are educated in Nigeria, at least basic ones, at least basic education, people know what they are supposed to do, not taking 4,000 naira to vote.
So are you talking about voter education or secular education? Because you know there are two things.
Not voter education. I mean, people don't go to school back home. You can see it. Look at every election we have had. They take 4,000 naira to vote. Which somebody that is educated will do that.
But at the same time, you have to understand that those leaders, sorry to cut you, but at the same time, you have to understand that those leaders that go to school, they have PhDs, they have masters after PhD. They don't even have common sense. They don't even have common sense.
Look at the common sense they have. They have succeeded in, you know, that this is what they want. They don't want you to know what they are doing. They don't want you to know the corruption. If you are not educated, you will not know how your money is going.
I know people that they haven't been to school, but they have more common sense than those leaders that we have in Africa.
Oh, that is right.
Is it a question of common sense, or it's really about them just being deliberately negligent of their duties? You know, as elected political officers. You know, the duties of them building schools, ensuring that every Nigerian child has access to basic education that would prepare them to, you know, take on the future as Nigerians, to improve on our future.
I think it's both. I think it's selfishness, the pride that they have, and the fact that they just look after their own kids. Sorry, own kids and their own pockets. That's the reason that we are today where we are. And if they stop these things and just, you know, like other people, other youth said, look, we are not working for them, they're working for us. If they have that mentality and believe in those youth, how could the leader say that Nigerian youth are the most useless or those most laziest people in the world? Even Donald Trump, that didn't go to school, would never say something like that about Americans. Like, that's what I don't understand. But anyway, Auntie Florence.
Why do you think they make statements like this? What's all they have been doing in Nigeria? There is nothing like protest. There is nothing like this. look at the developed world that we live in. Little thing, people come out in the street to demonstrate, to protest. But Nigeria, this is the first time I'm seeing protests in Nigeria. At least this, not the usual one that they sing. What is that? Their famous, song that they.
Yeah. Like he was saying, as far as I'm concerned, I don't understand. Because if Kagame had enough common sense to put up the price of diamonds to make sure that he could rebuild the land of his own people, I don't understand why Nigeria has failed since the 80s to do it. I don't understand it. And I don't understand, and I do not accept that a policeman or an army man has the right to shoot its own citizen. The duty of a policeman, when you are sworn into office, when you are sworn to wear the uniform, is to serve and protect. Wherever you go in the world, is to serve and protect. So Nigeria is not going to tell me that they don't know about rubber bullets. They don't know about using water cannon to disperse protests. Yeah, these are international examples that have been shown forever and ever. But now people have to shed their blood. They have to shed their blood for what is rightfully theirs. They have to shed their blood because a policeman thinks that he has the right to abuse you because you have an iPhone or a Samsung. How does he know? Does he know your parents? Does he know your parents? So if Nigeria was to pay their police officers maybe better money, you understand? They wouldn't take their frustrations out on the citizens. Because let me tell you something. I am not a mother yet, but you kill my child, Buhari, I will petition the Hague. You are joking with me. I will petition the Hague, and I will have you there as a war criminal. You lie, because somebody, if you don't resuscitate my child, somebody will have to pay. I'm telling you. And me, I'm the type, I will kill your entire family. There is no two ways about it. I will kill your entire family. I will make them suffer. I will decapitate them. These children were sitting on Lekki Bridge, peacefully holding NSARS. No weapon, no knives, no Molotov cocktails, no nothing. And then you shot them. I was horrified when I saw some of the videos that people were sending me, and I'm sitting in England. I was horrified. I was on my knees all night begging God that please, this situation has to change. At least the difference between Nigerian youths and the difference between South African youths is that Nigerian youths were willing to die what they believe in. For that, I make them martyrs. For that, I praise them. But at the end of the day, the pain of their mothers, the pain of one is the pain of all. I cannot believe that Buhari has allowed that situation. You can hear the passion in my voice. The thing pained me. The thing pained me. I was like, what? Buhari has allowed these people to degenerate and nobody is accountable. You wear the uniform, but you wear the uniform for the sake of the
Her audio has gone up again.
Yeah, she, even I was very angry when I saw that. But do you know that one thing people don't know about Nigeria is any military, any soldier from the north is easily ready to shoot anybody from the east, west, south, all those areas. Look at the commander who commanded that the shooting. His name is, I think, Mr. Bello, like that. This is what is happening, and you cannot shoot the headers who are busy killing people all around the whole country. So this is why we said Nigeria, we need reformation of that country. Things need to be better than the way we are just seeing it.
All right. Thank you. Light, leave Light well.
Hi,
Welcome.
hi guys. Hi Pam. Hi people. Again, I'm
Welcome.
so sorry for what's happening in Nigeria, you guys. I put just a number of things have come to my mind. You guys have just been so on my heart, and we're praying for you guys. I was listening to somebody who is your best political advisor, and that is Clayton Udo. And you can find him on Facebook. And he's predicted everything that's happening right now. And he has the best analysis, and he knows who you are. He knows you guys are the true Abantus. He knows you're the true Israel. And you guys are in a war with your enemy, Esau Edom, who is the Fulani, okay? And so he's confirmed, he has great analysis. He has confirmed that this is sort of an extension of Black Lives Matter, which is not about Black Lives Matter. It's about the American political forces or the global forces that be that are trying to destabilize Africa. This is what I said to you before. Now, in America, what they used to do is they used to take the babies of the slaves and throw them in the water to chum the water, and then an alligator would come up and eat them. And then they would bring the alligator in, and they'd be able to sell alligator shoes and make all kinds of things out of that alligator. And this is why this word is in the whole agenda, this alligator word, okay? They are basically shooting you like fish in a bucket. Like I said, World War III is about to begin. World War III is about to begin. Okay, the Americans are selling weapons right now to Taiwan because China and Taiwan are going to war. America is going to go to war. And so what they're concerned about is their investment in places like Nigeria. Clayton Udo will tell you he has the evidence that the Fulani have always taken all the money given to Nigeria, put it on ships. They've always demanded it in cash from the World Bank, and then it is taken to America. The Chinese have participated in the same thing. You guys have been prisoners of war, and you continue to be. You can't put any faith in your government. This is staged. Okay, and it's like Clayton Udo said, and he said this months and months ago. You guys need to arm yourselves and hide. There is no, what's happening is a global war is about to take place. Even Russia is positioned right now in Mali, okay, and supporting their military there. They cannot have any kind of organization or resistance in Nigeria, which is one of the jewels of Africa because of the oil. They can't have a war pop off globally. And then you guys, the youth there, actually do start to take your land back. This is completely staged. I don't know if you went on to Dr. Mumbi's channel. Now, I don't agree with her spiritual perspective, but she has also confirmed that it's a false flag. It's a staged conflict. So you can't nobody gets freedom by asking for it. You have to either go to war, and you are under attack. You have been for the last 500 years. You are prisoners of war in your own country, and you have an enemy. And so the only thing you can do is hide and protect yourselves. This education is not going to work. What education does to the Hebrew mind, to the minds of you guys, the diaspora, who are in Western Africa, because that's not your land, Israel's your land, is that it kills the soul and it kills the spirit. And so that's why education is not going to solve your problems. You guys tried that in the 60s. They tried that in America. All over the world, the diaspora has tried it. It's not the solution. Their education is a form of witchcraft to keep you in poverty. The only way that you can educate yourself is to find out your true history. And there's a lot of resources for that. And find out about your old empires. But you can't let yourself get caught in this false dichotomy that they've set up, which is about, oh, you're fighting for freedom, you're appealing to the government. The government will never give it to you. They're trying to genocide you. They've been genociding you all along. And they just wanted to bring out all the young people, just like they did in America. They brought out all the young people and the protesters, and they shot them with bullets, and the race soldiers have been hunting them down. Same thing there in Nigeria. And then they're bringing in the military next, and they're using you guys as the first experiment. And then they're going to do what they're doing in Nigeria right now. They're going to go and do it in America once the war pops off. And then Russia and China are going into America. And that would be your time for rebellion, not right now. But they want to completely destabilize Africa while they go to world war. They want to completely destabilize it. And they don't want you guys taking your power back. And you have real enemies. And I know this guy is not believing anything, but anybody who understands Hebraic thought, that understands that you guys are Israel, you're the Abantu, you're the people of Abba, you know this is true. And this is why I recommend Clayton Udo. You guys, he's an amazing leader for you guys, and he's been in the US all this time, but he's predicted all of this. He can give you all the information that you need. And I know, why are you laughing? I see this guy laughing because...
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yes, Hank, you want to respond?
Go right ahead. Comment.
Yeah, what we are talking about is current situation of a country. I know in the 60s our education system in the 60s was perfect, very good, more than that of Singapore, more than Brazil. We are ahead of all of them in the 60s. Understand? When you check the investment of Nigeria in education in the 60s, just look at it. You see how where we are compared to other countries. That is why we are saying that, we know that our country it can be done. What happened before can also repeat itself. Just a little push. That is what we need. This is the first time it has started. It's going to happen. Yeah, it will. It will. It will. Just
because that's worked for the last 500 years. That's worked really well. That's worked since the 1960s, right? That's worked so well. I mean, you've had about, 60 years of trying to do that, and it hasn't worked? So you're just going to be like, oh, just go out and protest, make yourself a soft target, let the people shoot you like fish in a bucket, because the real agenda is genocide so they can keep control over your land. But you're saying education. Education didn't work in the United States. It didn't work in the West Indies. It didn't work in Britain. And it hasn't worked in Africa, because it's not an education about who you are and your history. It's your enemy's education that destroys your mind, the big Hebraic brain, and your spirits. You need to know about your empires in the past. You need to know, most importantly, who your God is, because your God is ready to fight for you.
I know who my God is.
Huh? Who is your God? Who is your God?
My God is Alpha and the Omega. That is my God.
Is Africa and Ethiopia?
No, Alpha and the Omega.
Oh, Alpha and the Omega.
Jehovah, yes.
Yeah, Yahuwah. Yahuwah. So what does the scripture say prophetically right now?
Exactly.
Does the scripture say rely on education?
No, actually, what
the thing is, Hank, let me come in here. Oftentimes when we talk about religion versus development, and education, it's always, if we look at places like America, Europe, even Israel that you are making reference to, China, all of these countries are countries that have advanced, in every sense of advancement or development that we can make reference to. Yes, the truth is civilization started off in Africa. You go back to history, you talk about, ancient civilizations, discoveries that were made in science, mathematics, and, all of those things, medicine and all started in Africa. So what went wrong, with the coming of these Europeans and the coming of, all these colonial invaders that to destroy the knowledge and eventually force on Africans this European knowledge, that sort of disrupted the knowledge flow that our ancestors had, that couldn't, or that wasn't passed down to us. This knowledge and innovation is what the West is using right now, or has developed, advanced, and are developing their regions, their economies, their healthcare, and everything. So when we look at Africa, on the other hand, I saw a video this evening, a video that Eunice shared with me on Instagram before I came live. I'm going to put that video up on my channel, where someone is talking about the need, a European talking about the need for them to keep Africa, in this sort of perpetual underdevelopment, because their prosperity, their high standard of living and survival depends on how destabilized Africa is as a region. So they're taking from us in terms of resources and all of these things that we have to offer, and using it to develop their own knowledge, their own economies, their own health. So when we talk about education, it's really important. If you go to the rural areas, if you go to the underdeveloped regions of Africa, where there is no electricity, there's no healthcare, or these people do not have access to basic education. And as a result of that, it is easy to, manipulate them. It's easy because they are not empowered with the information they need to make decisions for themselves, to make certain analysis, and come to terms with the fact that I can make this choice, I can make this decision, and all of that. So the place of education cannot be overemphasized. And personally, I feel like the education that we have, for instance, in Nigeria, is outdated. We need an upgrade. The curriculum of Nigerian educational system is outdated. That was the curriculum that was developed with the advent of these colonial invaders. It was designed to suit their colonial agenda, prepare people to be able to fit in their colonial employ, to serve their purpose, and that was it. The world has gone past, what our curriculum is offering now. That's why a lot of these politicians understand that their children do not school in Nigeria. They take their children abroad to those places where, their education is advanced. They have curriculum that is relevant to contemporary challenges. These children do not school in Nigeria, but they've refused perpetually to review the curriculum, to review the educational system, to improve on it. That's why a lot of people are, getting angry. Hank, for instance, has been talking about education for the longest time since he joined this conversation. And I'm not, I mean, every point is valid. For the spiritual aspect, I really don't argue so much in spiritual aspects and all, because clearly I'm not well equipped in that area. But when it comes to secular and things that, secular things, we can just make analysis of things based on what is happening in Africa, in Nigeria, and draw comparisons to what is happening in other regions of the world, Europe, America, China, and all Asia rather, and all of those the advanced worlds.
But my question is, how can they be advanced if they're living off of you? And what they do is constantly exploit and enslave and abuse you. They're stealing from you because you have everything. And it's not just the resources, it's actually you as the people who are the true gold, the true thing of worth. Now, I'm in the Western world, and I know my sister from England is as well. And we see what happens to Africans when they come here, or West Indians, whomever. And how things work is that people come here and they're brainwashed. The education system, it's not superior, it's not advanced, it's superior in theft and witchcraft and oppression. And that's what they learn. That's why the leaders continue to oppress you, because that's what they learn how to do. They learn self-hatred, they learn a false history, they learn how to perpetuate a false narrative so that they can continue to prosper the Western world and then be paid off by it as sellout people. That's actually what happens. Now, insofar as when I'm talking about who you are, I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about the fact and truth of who you really are and where you come from. And I'm talking about an education that comes from that perspective. So, for example, the truth about who you are is that the Abantus people, the Igbo people, were the people who actually built Europe. Okay? They actually built Europe. There were Abantus. King James was descended from you. All of the kings in Spain, the Yaya kings who were called Negroes, were descendants of Solomon and descendants of David and descendants of Joseph. And when the transatlantic slave trade began, it began with enslaving them and sending them to the New World, to Jamaica, and to America. And that's who you really are. You built Europe, but they hide that history. And their children were sold to Saint Thomé. And then 10 years later, the transatlantic slave trade started. Europe did not have, Europeans didn't even wash or take a bath more than once a week, or if it was possible. The Hebrews, the Abantus people, brought baths, they brought libraries, they brought cleanliness, they brought the alphabet, the Aleph Bet, to Europe. They brought the number system, because remember, the Romans only had Roman numerals. They didn't have a number system. The Hebrews brought a number system, and I'm not talking about the Egyptians or Kemet. I'm talking about the Shemitic people who are called the Abantus, okay? Abba's people, Abantu, okay? And that's Hebrew. What they speak in Israel right now is not Hebrew, it's Yiddish brew. Your language is actually true Hebrew. And this is who you truly are. So your education has to be based on the knowledge of this history and on this language, this original language of creation and your true history. And then you can look at the diaspora didn't have to create polluted cities with tall buildings and mercury that bleeds off into the system and lead in the pipes and all of this poison. And they didn't have to rob other nations in order to prosper. They created their own prosperity. When they built buildings, when they built structures, they were environmentally sound. They integrated with nature. They had cooling systems that worked with water, with nature, with sunshine, all of those things. That is what your true history is. And that's where your systems of knowledge come from. That's where your alphabet comes from. That's where your numerical system comes from. And so when I talk about that, I'm not talking about just religion. I'm talking about your actual education. Because if you don't know who you are, if you think you're just Kemet, and that's your only history, and there's no relationship between that and the creator, then of course you're going to be like, oh yeah, because the Western thought is religion is separate from education. You have to keep God out of things. Whereas they put witchcraft in their religion because witchcraft is a religion.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hank, hold
Can
on.
I just come in for a moment?
PS Congo, hold on. Aunt Flo, go. After you, then PS Congo.
Yeah.
Aunt Flo.
I mean, all this information that you're giving is all very well and good. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
all
please.
this information you're giving is very well and good, okay? But the thing is, right now, we need the solution to what is going on in our land. If people want, education never ends. You don't have to go to school to educate yourself. Education never ends. If people could just stop using the internet, wasting time on their phones, looking at nonsense at social media, if you want to inform yourself about your background, it is there for you to look for, instead of using the internet for rubbish, okay? The first university in the world was in Timbuktu. So therefore, how can you believe what a Western person is telling you about they being superior to you? The first university was in Timbuktu. The Romans have written books that have stated quite clearly that they were educated by the Africans, okay? They were educated by the Africans, and I'll give you names. There is Saint Clements, who described his education in Africa. The Romans and the Greeks described the education in Africa. The best army in Africa, the most remarkable one that both.
Where did she go?
Sorry. Oh, okay. I wanted to continue what it was
You know she's saying some valuable stuff. That's why they keep pulling her off.
Well,
I love
all these.
No,
all these
I
things we are
completely
discussing,
agree with what she's saying. I completely agree with it because it is on the internet. I can give you a link to everything I just told you about, that whole history, to a whole video on it to prove that is who you are, that you're the descendants of Solomon and David, and that you built Timbuktu. You guys, what South Africa originally was a multi-circular city that was established by the Abantus, and it was taken down. But the reality is that I really encourage you guys to listen to Clayton Udo, because he's like, what does the scripture say? When this kind of war and conflict comes, because we are in the end times, you have to run to the hills and you have to protect your lives. You have to get guns. You have to gather together in groups and go up into the mountains and hide until an opportune moment. And you need to pray. You can't sit in your homes and be a target. And you can't go out on the streets and protest and be shot like fish in a barrel because they want to genocide you. They've been genociding you the whole time. That's what all of these shots and everything have been about, coming from, the United States and Britain. This is their military action against you, disguised as SARS, Black Lives Matter. Just rebrand. It's chocolate ice cream instead of, cafe au lait ice cream. It's the same crap. You can't fall for it. You have to hide and protect yourselves, get food together, and go and hide in the mountains. Go hide in these villages you're talking about. Those people aren't ignorant. Just because they don't understand the Western ways doesn't mean that they can't reason and think on their own. They're in studying the order of the procession that Yah created. They're in nature. They're not stupid just because they're not educated in the Western system. That's where you can run and hide. They'll have food, they'll have farms, they'll be up in the mountains, but you have to protect yourself, because the scripture says when the end comes, you have to hide yourselves until the indignation is past, because whoever is alive and remains will be able to prosper in the coming new time. And you guys are in that transitional time right now. Lydia, sorry, you were gone, so I just started talking. Let me be quiet so you can talk.
Before
thank you.
Continue,
Yes,
no, can I just say something? Someone asked for the link. The one that you were talking about.
Oh, okay. All right. P.S. Congo.
Hi, evening, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, please. We can.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'd say that a couple of things. I'd say that political education is very important for Nigerians and Nigerian youth in particular. But one thing that I noticed, I lived in Nigeria for a couple of years, and I don't think that Nigerian education system is it's not a matter of good or bad, but it's not fitting to local realities. Let me explain. You see, Tanzania and South Africa post 1994, post apartheid, fitted the education system to the realities, be it local reality, and then I'm thinking about local government. For example, having mathematics taught in local languages, if necessary, or as well to the local needs. You have to think about the people who are unemployed, the local sociology, the local economy, and to see how, for example, businesses could use some of their income to profit and develop local neighborhoods. Yeah. So at the local government, trying to see how education can fit the local realities, and as well going on the national level. But before going there, there is a problem, and that is a problem that is common to every African nation. You see, I was thinking about that issue of what happened on Black Tuesday, and it's often the case that parts of the government don't know what the other part of the government is doing. Yeah. While in Nigeria, for example, I heard a person who knew the Obasanjo government, and the people at the time were accusing Obasanjo of certain crimes. And he was explaining that actually some of the crimes committed were not committed by Obasanjo himself. There are some parts of the government that are doing things that maybe the hierarchy is not aware of. They're working like criminal gangs. Yeah, there are several interests. To say that it's only the top of the government that knows everything that is going on is not necessarily the truth. And besides that, there is another problem. Some people have mentioned that early on, is that some of the contracts Nigeria have signed with foreign companies or foreign countries are not known. You see? And I can give you an example, but that is an example of a neighboring country to Nigeria, a diplomat that I knew personally. He was very competent. And by the way, I would like to say this. Nigerian officials, some of them are extremely competent and they have common sense. They have common sense. So let me go to the story. What happened was a Frenchman came to him, French official, and wanted to make a deal with him, but that deal was not beneficiary to his country. And he refused it. The Frenchman got angry and he called his president. A couple of days later, the presidency called him and said, you have to sign this deal. And that is linked to the contracts this country, that bound this country that I'm talking about to the former colonies. So if you have to free yourself, you first have to know about the contracts that Nigeria went into with different forces. Nigeria is extremely important for Europe because of natural resources. That is one. And as well its population. You see, the thing for Europeans is Nigerians have to live, have to stay at home. That is the interest of Europe. Because if there is a major crisis in Nigeria, in even 5 or 10% of the population lives, this would be a tragedy for Europe. So they have set it up in such a way that, how can I explain? They've set it up in such a way that Nigerians live well. They make sure that the government lives well, but not too well. So that at the same time, they can exploit the country, but at the same time, Nigerians stay there. So that is the problem, trying to figure out all these realities.
You know, one of the things that we say here in the West regarding Babylon, I'm in North America, I'm in Canada, I'm in Upper Egypt, basically, is that the system is not designed for you. It has to be completely destroyed. You have to create your own world without end. You have to actually participate in creating the world without end with your creator and turn back to the ancient paths. The government that is in Nigeria is irredeemable. You've got to understand, when you look at the transatlantic slave trade, what happened was that everyone was sold out of Spain first. That's where they first called them Negroes. Negro Ben Yahya, Negro Ben David and his descendants. And the children were sent to Saint Tomé and sent to West Africa and then sold from there 10 years later while they built that up for the Europeans. And the people who ran around and captured the Abantus people were the Islamists, who were descendants of Edom and Esau, which are the Fulani today. And some of them are the Hausa, but you guys are also mixed in with the Hausa. So So those are the people who sold you into slavery and sold us into slavery over here in the West. And those are the people who are ruling over you. And according to Torah law, you're not supposed to let anybody who is not your brother to rule over you. It's a commandment. And I've said to you before, we war not against flesh and blood, but against powers, principalities, rulers in high places, and every high and lofty thing that exalts itself above the knowledge of Yah. The Edomites, the Fulani do not serve the same Yah, and they are ruled by the fallen angels. And that was a sign, as I keep saying, it was a sign. When that meteor fell, that was a fallen angel falling over Nigeria. And those people spiritually in the spirit realm lost their power. And they're looking to get it back from you by endorsing their government. Because then you give your spiritual power in the heavenly realms to them to rule over you again, which is slavery again, and you're breaking the law. Your time now is to be rulers, and you can't give your power to anybody. That system has proven again and again, inside out, backwards, forwards, upside down, that it does not serve you. They are not your friend, and they are not your people.
Then? What's the solution?
The solution is to educate yourself on who you are. And like our sister was saying, who keeps getting cut off, I can't see your name right now. Go on YouTube and educate yourself. Yeah, I'm going to put the link in here right now. I was just working on a little playlist for you guys. You're not going to agree with everything these people say spiritually, because there's always a bit of conflict within the family of the Abantus people. But this is your history I'm going to give you. And study and know who you are, because once you understand things spiritually, this is a book that is coded. It is your own history, and you will understand things in the natural also. What I'm giving you is a spiritual impartation that will allow you, as the Kodesh, coded, set apart people, to understand this material world. Not only from a heavenly eye, but in the natural. And so what I've said, when you start to look at prophecy, when we are looking at the book of Revelation, and we're looking at the books of Esdras, right now it is saying that the eagle, who is America, okay, and there was just, and another eagle is also Russia. There are going to be two kingdoms prophetically coming against the final Babylon and dividing it. That's China and Russia. They're also trying to divide your lands and keep control over them as America falls. The scripture says the 10 kings hate the whore. There are 10 kings in Europe who are standing against America right now, including China. And they will burn her with fire, is what the scripture says. So you know right now that they are trying, they're like a cornered dog, a cornered animal. They're trying to retain their power over Nigeria. That meteor falling is the indication that that empire is over. So the scripture commands you that he who is alive and remains, you have to protect yourselves, protect your lives, retreat to the mountains, and educate yourself on who you are. It is not the time for you to go to war yet. This is not the time. It seems simple, but sorry. Let me let you talk. But that's what it is.
We are talking about the end time.
We're in the end time.
One thing I feel like
what the people need right now is good governance. Let's forget about the end time. You understand me?
No.
Yeah, what the people need now is, look at Rwanda. Rwanda in many years ago was, it's nothing to write home about. But look at it today. With good governance, things are falling together. Now everybody is singing Rwanda's praise. You remember China of those days?
Yeah.
China, everybody in the US, China, everybody.
Sorry, brother.
Many people were in China.
Brother,
look at China
brother,
today. This is reality.
Yeah.
This is what Nigeria needs. I'm in Nigeria. I know what we need in our country. Forget about the end time. Let's forget about the end time right now. But let's face good governance. God has given us everything that we needed in that country. For God's sake. Everything is there. God made it so. so that
And
people with sense can take care of the environment. But our leaders are not doing it.
Our leaders are not doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
Somebody has their head there.
Yes. And Flo, I saw your hand up. Hank, hold your thoughts. I'll come back to you. I just want us to remember.
I'm saying that.
And Flo, it seems like you have two devices on. Maybe you can turn down the volume on the other one. And just before she speaks, I want us to remember that the focus of this conversation now is how we can harness the leadership that young people have demonstrated in the past weeks with the EndSARS protest, and what strategies that we can adopt to sustain this momentum towards advancing Nigeria as far as good leadership is concerned. So that's the focus of the conversation.
Yes, that is. That is the focus of the conversation, and we're getting too involved in all this spiritual stuff that people don't need. 1 second.
Okay, Ines, your hand was up. Go. Okay. All right, she's back.
At the end of the day, it's all well and good talking about spirituality, but look, there is Nigeria is in a state of emergency, and I don't think that anybody, I mean, they've sung praises to God and everything else, they've done it, we've all seen it internationally and everything else. We need the solution now. And my thing about education is that it doesn't actually have to start in the schools. Education starts with the parents. Faith, hope, and charity. If you want to talk about spirituality, charity means love in the Bible. And love starts with your parent. It's up to your parents to educate the children. And that's what most parents do. They educate their children before they go to school. So therefore, it is the responsibility of the parents to carry that education in the home. Yes, Nigeria's schooling system is a bit ancient, but the schooling system in the UK or anywhere else in Europe is not that great either. It is based on the model of the Second World War, where people are actually trained to go and be worker bees and not be entrepreneurs. And the model needs to change. That is the problem with the entire education system of the world, because most of the people who have made money in this world have not even had an intensive education. I can give you the names of millionaires, okay, who made it, but only stayed in education till the age of 16. That is not impossible either also in Nigeria. But the problem is the government has not organized itself very well, because the question I'm asking myself is, hold up, when Buhari came into power, the first thing he did was go and get all the corrupt people, blah, 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 collect the money, made international arrangements with America and other countries where the monies had been transported to, where properties had been bought and everything else, got them to sell those properties, bring back the money into Nigeria. Okay, fair enough. Now, a situation happens. COVID-19 comes to visit us. There is money from those crooked people. Why is it that Buhari has not invested it in the people? Why is it that now, you sit on Facebook, you have a whole bunch of strangers who just like your picture, come and pretend to be your friend. What they're looking for is for money to eat. But the thing is, hold up, I may be in Europe, but I myself have lost my income because the government shut down my job to protect me from COVID-19. So I am sending you money to feed you Whilst now the truth of the palliative have come out because this youth broke into a warehouse, and then we discovered that there was food all along. And Africa has no issues with food. So that already proves it, that plenty of food was left there to rot whilst people were actually dying of starvation. It was not COVID-19 that was killing Africans. It was actually starvation that was killing them before COVID-19 became their problem. Okay? Now, they've decided they've had enough of SARS. Nigeria, the history of Nigerian army, the history of Nigerian police is that they were educated in Coventry, actually, one of the best military schools ever in the world. It was one of the best military schools ever. What has now happened that we have now lost our way as people, as elders of a country, as the examples and as role models to our own people, that out of frustration, out of anger, we now turn on each other. We have no hesitation. But let me tell you something, even though America has a lot of no-nos, one thing I like about the American army, especially the officers within the American army, is that if a president or a major in the army orders them to do something that goes against the Constitution, they have the right to actually imprison that major. They have the right to take up arms against their own. That's what I like about the Americans, the American army. I have dated an American officer, and I know what court martials are about, because some of them have gone to certain wars as protectors and have been asked to do things that go against what they were supposed to do, and they have stood up against their own government and refused to fulfill that particular action. And some of them are willing to go to court martial for that. So what I asked myself in watching what happened on Lekki Ikoyi Bridge, when these young people were there, what the hell possessed these people to decide to shoot unarmed innocents who are just protesting for their rights? The police is harassing me. I have the right as a citizen to the freedom of my city. I have the right to look up to you as an officer of the law, as a representative of government, as a representative of my country, yeah, as my protector. So even if you have been deployed and called out to keep order within that city, what gives you, or who gave you the right to fire on the unarmed protesters? That's what I want to know. And that's what I want the international law court to establish about Nigeria and all the people who have been killed. That's really what I want. And I'm willing to write a petition to take this matter to The Hague, because we need to know the truth of what has happened. Okay? If you don't have pride in yourself as a Black person and you think Europe is the dream, let me tell you something. I have lived in Europe. I was brought up in Europe. My parents were blessed by God. They were able to put all four of us in Europe. Europe and crap. I'll tell you that now. Europe and crap. I would rather go back home, because I would achieve much more back home with the education system that they invested for me to have, the courage, the spiritual beliefs that they instilled in my person, you understand? So that no white person can stand to intimidate me. I refuse to be intimidated. There are some Black people that come to Europe and they kowtow to white people. I am not one of those Black people that is willing to do that. You understand? And I am not going to cross the Sahara Desert to try and kill myself to get to Europe, thinking that I will find streets paved with gold. No, it's not. The suffering in Europe is real. Nigerians, stop doing it. Stop taking cars, stop taking inflatable boats, stop doing all that rubbish to try and get away from Nigeria. You are the power of that country, because some of you amongst you right now, even though you may be suffering at the moment, some of you have already been chosen by the highest power ever to be governors, to be senators, to be presidents. You understand? Every president of a country comes from somewhere. Madagascar has an ex-DJ as a president today, okay, who's protecting their country. What is it? Kagame also had a shitey job. He could tell you what he was doing during the time of what is it? The abominations that happened in his country. Yeah. Even what people forget about Rwanda was that children, 5 children, testified to the fact that the what is it? Mary came and actually told them, prophesied about this genocide that was going to happen and what they should do to be able to get that country back to what it is now. Kagame came in and he did it. Leaders need to be patriots. A true patriot loves his people. A true patriot loves his land. A true patriot loves his home. A true patriot embraces his people like they are his children. That's what true patriots do. But insofar, the leaders that we've had, they're not true patriots. Also, the comment the guy made, one of the guys that spoke wasn't showing his face, about government and the problems with government. Nigeria, during the time of COVID, had a reality check when they were looking at the suffering of the people. Some members of Senate and governors stood up and said, we need a social care system in place. We need to sort out our hospitals. They did mention it because I was avidly watching any news I could get about what is going on in Nigeria. Ayade did his best. He created the first social housing in Nigeria, which has been unheard of. And he's done it, okay, with his palliative. What the government gave him, complete transparency of how he spent it. What I'm wondering is, this warehouse where we found the food partially rotten, some of it still there, still good, because there was rice, there were all sorts of things that are non-perishables. What do the governors of each of those states have to say now to the representative members and to the population about why the food packages were not deployed? Can they explain to us why people in diaspora had to look into their own private bank accounts to send money by Western Union, by Sendwave, to complete strangers because they were telling us they are starving? No, I want to know. So what gives Buhari or whichever governor the audacity to disrespect, mistreat, what is it, abuse the people of the country? You understand? To abuse the people, the citizens of the country, you understand? By treating them like worse than animals. What gives Buhari the audacity to sit down and watch this murder take place and yet not act upon it? No, I want to know, because what makes the power of Donald Trump greater than that of Buhari over his own army? If there is a situation like that happening in America and Donald Trump or any other president doesn't like what is happening, let me tell you something. One phone call and in 5 minutes it stops. And the leader, the army general who is ordered to kill those innocents, gets court-martialed. There is no argument about it. Okay, it is common human decency. Would Buhari, who is a father, like people to mistreat his children the way in which he has mistreated the children he swore to protect, the children that he swore to feed, the children that he swore to be accountable to? I want to know, as the child of an ex-politician, I would like explanations on it. You understand? That's what I want to know. Because Why is it that Buhari came into power? You collected all these billions of pounds, billions of dollars of defrauded money from your own country. Yeah, you cannot provide for the country in a state of emergency. What are you doing with money? I want to know. I am one of those citizens. I am one of the child of Africa, one of the children of Africa who wants to know. And I am more than willing to come to Buhari face to face. I have done it before with other politicians. So it is not, I have done it with the IMF. I have done it with the World Bank. It is not Buhari and his SARS or SWAT or whatever that's going to stop me from asking for an explanation. Because I need an explanation to find out why I was on my knees praying to God that the killing should stop. What is it? Don't people have the right to complain when you are underperforming? What is it? Who are you? Jesus himself took criticism. So what makes Buhari exclusive to that? What makes him exempt to that? I am sorry to take up the floor, but let's talk about the real issues. I want to know, why are some mothers tonight crying over their children? Why are some fathers grieving their children? I want to know what happened to Africa. What image is he giving to the world, to the point where Hillary Clinton is contacting you to tell you that this abomination has to stop? Do we really need white people to phone us to let us know that we are being morally corrupt, we are being politically inefficient, economically stupid, emotionally idiotic? I mean, do we really need that? No, we don't. Africa can resolve its own problems. But the problem is we have bad leaders. It doesn't matter which party you are from, whether it's the DPD, APC, or what. This is that the world is full of critics, but yet nobody has done anything to improve the situation apart from Ayade for his own people. And he looks after Cross Rivers. So what happened to the Lagos people? Who cares about the Oba? The Oba, when these things was going on, Oba, you are supposed to be a king, a representative of the city of Lagos. Why did you not talk to the politicians that you have easy access to ask them for a reasonable and fair judgment on these people, to ask them to meet up with the people who were protesting and speak to the leaders of the protest to sort out these matters and make some serious promises? Members of the House of Representatives have stood up. They have looked at certain contracts that other governors signed that were fraudulent to the people of Nigeria. I will have you know. Yeah? Some people have done it. Some members right now of the Senate who are lawyers, trained lawyers abroad, are actually taking international action against China and other countries that came to sign these dodgy agreements, yeah, that is to the detriment of our people. As far as I'm concerned, I die for my people. I don't have time for white people. A British passport just eases my life when I travel because I don't like to answer questions, okay? And as far as I'm concerned, my parents have earned that white man's passport because we came here, we suffered, we made our money. You understand? We don't owe anybody. We didn't steal from anybody. So do I deserve a British passport? Hell, flipping yes. But do I keep my African passport? Oh, hell, yes. Because me, myself, under COVID, the moment they open that airport, I want to go home. I don't care what is happening there. I want to go home. Because with my education, my passion for my people, I can make a difference by setting up a business. I can make a difference by contributing the lives of my people. Yeah, by economically doing it. If I can do it in a white man's country, I can do it in Africa where there's no sponsorship, there is nothing, no support from your government. I can do it because I believe that I can. You understand? I was chosen. God blessed me to come to Europe to get that education. You understand? To take it back to my people. And if I have to stand, it takes one person to make a change. It takes one person to make a difference. When you start doing that, other people follow. That's why I don't like leaders of men. I like leaders of the people. Magufuli, when he addresses his people, even in front of a white audience of journalists, he speaks to them in his native language. He speaks to them in his native language. Kagame, that's the same thing. He appeals to his people. He explains the problem, the challenges that he's faced with. What gives Buhari the arrogance to think that he is so superior to the powers that be, that he can undertake any decision that he wants by himself without consulting the people? But who voted for you?
He's not your
Right.
people.
Yeah,
The other leaders that you just mentioned are your people.
Auntie Flo,
Yeah,
can I get your
Ines.
detail if you
Yeah,
want?
Ines.
I just want to ask Auntie Flo, can I get your detail? They're here.
Okay. The conversation is really getting interesting. Yeah. Yeah. PS
Can I
Congo.
just say something? Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, as Auntie was speaking, I was, you know, Auntie, you open up eyes and my eyes and so on so many things. But I was thinking about the leaders are living so far away from the reality. I don't know if some of you saw the statements of the spokesperson of the army regarding the videos that were circulating online. Have some of you seen it? What he was
Sorry, I
basically
didn't
saying
get.
is that some of these pictures, these videos were photoshopped. So the spokesperson of the army made a statement. I think it was today or yesterday, and he was saying that these were photoshopped. So that shows you that they basically don't know in which century they are living. They think it's still 1980s military regime Nigeria. The world is advanced. He doesn't even know that you cannot fake live Facebook streams. That tells you a lot.
Yeah.
That is the spokesperson of the army. And you know, if this is the type of mentality you have from the spokesperson of the armed forces, imagine what kind of mentality Buhari still has. Is he still living in his
Exactly.
head in the 1980s, in the military regime? And as you were speaking, Auntie, I was thinking about, you know, you talked about court martial, etc. But you know, the institutions in countries like the United States have been set and have been grounded for decades, if not centuries. On the African continent, we are still not there. And for soldiers to be scared to shoot or even to question the fact of shooting on civilians, they need to really, if we have to rely on their own morals, we will not get there. It has to be set in stone. It has to be part of their thinking. In military academies, that needs to be taught that you are a soldier, you are here to protect the nation and not do law enforcement. Soldiers are not meant to do law enforcement. That is not their role. It's to protect the borders. Yeah. So at this point, the only thing that will work is an order, because surely you have soldiers that have trained, that have been that have gone through their military service outside of Nigeria. But for the individual soldier to have that fear of shooting on his fellow Nigerian, it will only come with force. And for now, you know, I've said it the other day and people didn't like it, but we have to rely on international organization. The International Criminal Court, I know that Grace, you saw the comment that I made. The International Criminal Court came actually out of the United Nations General Assembly. Yeah? So we have to really work with some of these organizations. I'm not saying that they have to come into Nigeria or do anything. It's a matter of pressure, trying to see, and that's what I said the other day, trying to see where we can apply the pressure on this government, and particularly on the mind of Buhari and the military regime. I mean, the leadership, to have an effective change. It will be a long affair. It won't happen overnight. But I mean, people have to study that. There needs to be real Nigerian youth who establish think tanks, that people share information. Auntie shared information just now about what she knows about some of the people she met, the information that she has. And for Nigerian youth and Nigerian people, it's important to share information as well with other Africans so that change can effectively take place.
All right. Thank you, Ines.
One thing that I wanted to add, I think Auntie Flo said everything that I had to say, but one thing I wanted to say, like, as Africans, as Black people from diaspora, from across the continent and stuff, one thing that we have to remember is that unity is very important. And one thing also we have to do is, especially for now I'm speaking about Nigeria, what's going on in Nigeria and stuff. You cannot have faith in a president that said call his own people as lazy youth. No president ever done that. And I don't know, but I don't think a president ever done that. And we have to learn also how to move forward, not go backward. I know that we have to teach our history. We have to go back in the past and stuff, but we cannot continue going to the past. And I feel like religion does not do anything for us. It drops us down. It messes everything up, and we have to find solutions. And that's all I wanted to say.
All right, Ines, thank you so much for that contribution. We're trying to round up quickly, so we're going to take turns to give our final words before we shut down. So we're starting from my right on the screen. Don't mind me, I'm looking at the backstage. On my right is Aunt Flo, then PS Congo, Ines, then Live Light Well, and then me. So we're coming this way. Aunt Flo.
Okay.
Yes, Aunt Flo, you have the floor now. Aunt Flo, I'd actually like for you to touch a bit on what strategies you would suggest the young people who have risen to rebuild Nigeria. What strategies they can adopt to mobilize and be more effective?
Okay. The thing is, the problem with when people stand up for their rights is that you also have elements that are unhealthy within it. So you need to find a way in which to prevent those elements from creating that happen. It's the reason why so many innocents got caught up in the crossfire and got killed. My thing is, education is important, but man only needs to learn how to read and write. Man needs to know its beginnings, its actual roots, to know where they're going, which is true. Now, the thing is education really that fundamental? No, it is not that fundamental. Because people, if you really want to educate yourself, educate you every day. People need to learn how to read. You people have smartphones. You want to learn about the Kush army, your ancestors who body bagged the Romans, the Americans, the Arabs, and everything else. You can actually read about it, because the greatest fighter, the greatest soldier in Africa was not Shaka Zulu. The Kush army had better and bigger power than you would ever know. They were renowned, even to the point where the Romans were hiring these people to actually fight their own wars. Aristotle, you want to know about the history of Africa? Read about Aristotle, read about Homer, read about St. Clement. They have the details there from the beginning of how your ancestors were, okay, which no school reveals to you. The first mariners were Africans. They ended up in Chichen Itza, in Peru, the caves, Peru. They picked the images through hieroglyphics of what was achieved by your own ancestors. Your own ancestors, you bear in mind, they are fantastic and you need to make them proud. And if we need to lose our lives, sacrifice blood to our leaders get it, then we will do that without hesitation and stand as martyrs for this matter, because it is about time. There is no excuse for the backwardness of Africa. There is no excuse for the lack of plumbing. There is no excuse for the lack of social care. There is no excuse for the lack of social hospitals. There is no excuse for the fact that a nation as great as Nigeria cannot even boast of a single university or college that will match or top up Oxford or Cambridge. There is no excuse for our own people. There is no excuse for what the government is doing or has done, past and present. There is no excuse. There is no apology. The only thing they can do is give us the change that we seek. Or if not so, we take it by force. And that is that. They have known now from what has happened with NSAS, that people are willing to fight and shed blood if they are to get the message. For many, many years, people have protested, people have moaned and everything else, but never taken any true action. For me, I think that they should set up apprenticeships, because it's not everybody who wants to end up in university. University is not suited to everybody. There are some people whose gifts are in their hands, so they don't need to go to university to go and learn about anything else. You understand? Some people can use their hands, their skills, because they were born with those gifts, and you nurture those gifts so that they can be of benefit to your country. The little girl I was talking about, the 15-year-old, that we paid for her to go to UCL and end up, she did her master's at the age of what, 18 in Oxford, with a bunch of well-meaning diasporans who contributed to her education. This girl was actually born with a brain for engineering. And this engineering has now taken her, she's Nigeria's promising light to fix your internet problem, that little girl. Because at the age of 18, she was doing a master's and she was teaching white people in that school. That's what you must do in that school when you do a master's. She did a PhD, we contributed to that. Olayinka is a fantastic example of Africa. She has the solution to some of our problems. Africans have a lot of engineers. Diaspora must come back home. Educated diaspora must come back home. Those of us with money, let's start going there and economically start building up our country, and don't expect anything from our government. That is the strategies that I have. People in universities telling them, oh, if you don't go to university and become a doctor, an engineer, if you become this, you become that, you will not get a job. All this type of rubbish. Well, Nigeria is the proof that that shit don't work. Pardon my French. Is the proof that that shit don't work, because plenty of them are unemployed. We had an armed robber in Nigeria who was educated, and his nickname was Rambo. He so frightened the citizens of Nigeria that guy, police, he was the most wanted on the list. But why did he do it? Because he couldn't get a job. He couldn't see future. And me, as far as I'm concerned, I tell all the young people in Nigeria, refuse for your government to kill your dreams. Refuse for your government to stop you from seeing a better future from Nigeria. For Nigeria to resolve its economic problems, Nigeria has to band with South Africa, because that is the other second well-developed country in Africa. They need to band together to help each other economically. They do not need the Chinese, Taiwanese, they do not need all those things. That's what they have to do. For East Africa to advance, East Africa is doing exactly the right thing that they should have done. They've joined with their neighbors, and they are building the world's biggest dam to have electricity 24/7 throughout there. Why can we not do that? Building cities. We are building, fuel places, but the price of petrol is not worth anything. So why are we wasting money? Why are we wasting investment that we could use on our youth to have a more promising future? We have tech engineers. We have digital brilliance in Nigeria. We have people who are doctors in Nigeria who can do a lot. They are brilliant, but the problem is in Nigeria is dangerous to have an operation there, because if they don't have a backup generator, you will die for free. So people have to rely on Europe to go there to get their treatment, or go to South Africa or go to Rwanda, which is more advanced, to go and have your medical treatment. So as far as I'm concerned, you must insist on basic education. First of all, for everybody in that country, there must be a basic standard and level. Things must go up so that your certificates will be recognized abroad, so that if you get headhunted in Nigeria, you don't have to come abroad and be retrained to do what you have already been trained to do in your own country. That is not acceptable. So therefore, the Nigerian government should invest in education under those particular conditions. Also, those of you who have a dream, who are talented engineers, who can do certain things, find other independent companies that welcome innovative thinkers and start training with them. Even if you have to offer the first 3 months of your life for free, just to get work experience and to learn a bit more, do that. Do that. And with the little money you get, start to advance yourself. People like Black and Decker, they came to England with 20 pounds in their pocket. They ended up with multi-million pound companies. Okay? So it's not always all about money. It's about faith and belief in yourself. Do it.
All right. Thanks, Aunt Flo. Yeah, we have Piers Congo. Okay, thank you. Piers Congo.
Hello. Hello? Yes. There are thought of a couple of things, made a couple of notes. So at this point, I think the pressure on the institutions, on the government is important. See where to pressure the government for it to give away to. Everything needs to be overhauled. The Nigerians have to know what binds the country externally. Who are the forces that bind Nigeria? Where is Nigeria being bound by external forces? What is pressuring Nigeria not to advance? What is stopping Nigeria not to go forward at this point? Very important for Nigerians to have think tanks, for the Nigerian diaspora, for Nigerians locally, sociologists, anthropologists, psychologists, to get together and to see what is not working in the system. Eventually look at the resources, how they can have a greater say in the oil revenue, etc. Thinking about changing the institution and the constitution. Let's say, for example, you see, if it was said that every state servant has to get treatment in the country, this will force the
Ines,
Nigeria.
It's your turn, Abi. Did you hear me?
Now, sorry. Hello. I'm still talking.
And Flo, Piers Congo is talking.
Ines, it's your turn.
No. Let him
Piers
talk.
Congo is talking.
Yeah. So,
Piers Congo, go on.
For example, if state servant, every government official has to be treated in the country, that will force Nigeria to develop its hospitals. Every service will be developed through that. That would be a way. And going back to the think tanks, the sociologists, the anthropologists, people in the local government, even local chiefs, local royalty, can give their input to see what they can change in terms of education to make it more fitting to the local realities. Yeah. Basically, that's what I wanted to say. And looking at as
Okay.
well at how it can fit local economies and better integration. And I mean, Nigerians really the thing of unity, better integration, not only regionally, as Auntie said, but among African youth, exchanging those ideas. That's the only way forward. We have to create something, overhaul the whole system, create something from fresh up.
All right. Thanks, PS Congo. Ines.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to ask like Auntie Flo, if you're there. I just wanted to ask her one question. Auntie Flo, can she hear me? Auntie Flo?
Go on. I guess she will hear you.
Okay. I wanted to ask her. I just wanted more. I just wanted her detail and stuff. Okay.
On.
What I wanted to say is that the fact that like
Detail and stuff.
Okay. Virtue Grace has them. Virtue Grace has it.
and one thing I wanted to say
I'll
as
send
Black
her email
people.
to you.
Okay. As Black people is the fact that we have to stick together because I believe this fight is spiritual and it's physical. So we need to fight together. We need to stick together. We need to, work together. It's not about tribes where you come from, whether you're Yoruba, where you're Mukongo. No, we need to stick together because to make Africa great again. So unity will be one thing, and also please, as African, we need to listen to one another. Even if you don't agree with one another, just listen. And we need to know that this how could I say, those marching, we have been doing it for 60 years, it never worked. So it will be very fool for us to be continuing doing the same thing and expecting different results, because it will never work. It never worked, never will be working. And we have to know who are our enemies. I feel like everyone knows who are our enemies, and we need to be obeying. We need to put this leader into we need to question these leaders, and we shouldn't be thinking that those leaders will do everything for us, because they would never, they will never do it, because like what's it called, Gaddafi said, they're puppets. So we need one thing. What I wanted to say is that we just need to stick together for the sake of the generation that's coming, for my generation and the generation behind that's coming. That's it.
All right. Thanks so much, Ines. Unity is very important. Live light well.
Hi, I just want to say thank you so much for letting me participate, because I know I'm from North America and the diaspora. And so, from Africa, from a distance, even though I know my family is from the Ashanti tribe in Africa, in Ghana. But so thank you so much. And also, Auntie, I would also like your information, if you would allow Grace to give it to me so I can interview you as well, because I've learned so much from what you've had to say, and I'm really trying to understand more of the details of what's going on in Nigeria. So thank you for your contribution and for the things that you're teaching me. So that being said, and thank you, Grace, again for having me on, Virtue Grace.
Welcome. You're welcome.
So that being said, I just want to remind everybody to understand the current context that we are in. What is the context that we are currently in globally? Because this is about a global thing that is happening. It's a global movement amongst the Bantus people and all the other nations who are against the Bantus people. That's why the same persecution is happening everywhere. That's why the same police forces are being activated. As I've said before, in Jamaica, they do the same thing. All over Africa, they do the same thing with what we would call the coon blackface police force that are your white supremacist, European supremacist enemies. They're doing the exact same thing. Black Lives Matter, SARS, and the youth protests is just try to understand that that's another version of that that's being used as an instrument. It doesn't mean that there aren't people who are sincere, youth who are sincere about protesting, but it's a way of bringing everybody out so they can identify you and know who to target or who to just shoot in the streets with bullets and get rid of. So remember, you are in a war. I mean, literally right now it is a war, but your rulers are not the same people as you. It's very important to understand that. They are not your friend. They are not your family. Once again, when you look at Magufuli, when you look at the East African nations, they are actually Abantu's leaders. They are praying to Yah. They seek Yah. The first thing that Magufuli did when COVID came was he prayed to Yah. He had all the people pray to Yah, not look to him as a leader, but look to the Creator. And even the way they run the country, they run it in a very, I want to say, biblical fashion. I don't believe in Christianity. I don't believe in white Jesus. I don't believe in any of that stuff, but I know that is the book of the Abantu's people. And you have to look deeper into it. And prophetically, everything that is in that book is happening right now. That's prophesied to happen. So understand the context of things. America, Babylon is falling. Is it not? It is falling. So that global war that the other nations are in, who are against the Abantu's people, this is part of their strategy. That's why they're doing the same thing with African Americans. That's why they're doing the same thing with Black British. That's why they're doing the same thing with people in the West Indies. That's why they're doing the same thing all over Africa. It's a war strategy. You are in a war. And the people who sold the diaspora into slavery are your rulers in Nigeria. They are your rulers. They're not your family. They're not, you can even do their genetics. They're not the same people. They are the very same people who captured the slaves and sent them to America. And they have been running the nation. So you can't appeal to your enemy to save you. So, and also, understand that history. I put a link in there for you guys. Understand your true history so you can know who you are and where you come from. And no, I don't believe in conventional education. I've said that it destroys your mind and your spirit. A lot of the gifts that have been placed in the Abantu's people are what have built nations, built Europe, built America. They specifically took a specific people to build America so that Babylon could be as great as it was and take over the world and oppress the whole world. And so, yes, just basic math, English, those kinds of things are necessary, but knowing your true history, and there are so many videos online, I really pray that you guys will look at the link that I put up and look at that history. It's very well done, these videos that you'll see, and you'll begin to understand who you are and why it is that the whole world is conspiring against you. That's literally what's going on. It's not just a localized thing that's going on. And I'm not discrediting any of the solutions that have been offered by the people here. I'm not saying, don't do those things, but I'm saying understand the global context of what is happening. You are the wealth of the nations. Looking to Europe and China and America for your example of how to prosper is not the way to go, because they stole you. And they've destroyed your nation so that you would be scattered to their nation, so you would be there as a resource, like the young woman that our sister described, who's this great engineer. And my mother was one of those people who went to England and outdid everybody as a great brain, because the gift is in your code, in the people. You're the treasure. And that's why they don't want the diaspora returning. That's why they want to do you know, they want to vax everybody as a form of genocide, and they want to give COVID passes because they don't, and they won't give most of the African Americans passports because they put them in prison. They've said, oh no, you can't have a passport. Why? Because they want to continue slavery. Why? Because the people are the actual gold. They're the ones with all the brilliance and the ideas. This is why all of the inventions of African Americans have gone all over the world. That's like blood transfusion, that's the light, that's the first heart transplant, that's the first water filtration system, the engine, the self-oiling engine that's in all of the trains, planes, automobiles that carry all the resources all over the world, GPS. These are all things invented by Abantu's people. The people are the treasure, and it's in you. And they always say in history books, oh, he was a self-educated. And your auntie is right. Everyone is self-educated because it's coded into you. So you don't need that Western education that will deprogram all of that out of you and kill your conscience, so you can't access that gift anymore. So the Margafuliization of all of Africa is something that needs to happen. And that means you can only, Hebraically, according to the law of heaven and the universe and the earth, you can only have your own people ruling over you. You cannot have your enemy ruling over you. And they are your enemy. And it's only unity in Yah, in your own people, and whoever wants to come into your nation, that is going to bless you and enable you to have success. Again, what is happening in Africa is happening in America. They are hoarding food and trying to generate a false famine in America as well, so that they'll have power when they come in and try to take it over. And they're trying to do the exact same thing. These are the overarching war strategies that they've done for years in Africa, and they're still trying to do, but something has changed now. Now's the time for the victory. And so when it comes to protesting, I don't believe in it. It's never worked, and you're just making yourselves vulnerable. It's like shooting fish in a bucket. You have to protect yourself, protect your food, protect your resources, and get together and strategize. Because when World War III kicks off, and please remember that we are on the verge of World War III. There will come a time for you to take advantage of the times, but it's not right now. Right now, they just want to destabilize you so they can do that war and obliterate you and genocide you and give you vaccines and shoot you like fish in a bucket at protests and make you believe that you can change the system that has not changed for 500 years and that is coming out of America. So it's just important to understand the larger context and what is going on globally and how all of these typical instruments they've been using for the last 500 years are going to be used again to try to genocide and end you. So that's what I have to say. Thank you, Auntie Flores. Thank you, Inez. Thank you, Virtue Grace. Salama.
All right, thank you so much. So on that note, we conclude on today's live stream. I can see some people are asking how they can get the stream. Unfortunately, we are rounding up, so we'll probably have this stream tomorrow or next. Something very interesting, something very impressive is happening tomorrow. So I'll be out because I want to go and cover that story and bring you, the details. So I'm not sure if I'll do a stream tomorrow, but let's see if Sunday works. We'll do our Sunday stream as usual. Thank you all so much for joining. Those of you in the chat room, you've kept the conversation going in the chat room. Thank you so much. For Aunt Flo, PS Congo, Ines, Live Light Well, Hanks, who has gone off. Thank you all so much. And of course, my brother who started this conversation with me, Ongu, even when the internet was messing up, logging me in and out, he held the conversation and sustained it. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate you. For those of you who sent me super chats, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. I'll see you all, and I'll send you Aunt Flo's email. She has approved of me to send it, so I'll send it to you. I don't know how I'm going to send that because I need to check to get it out. So Rachel, I don't know if you can send your email to me, then I'll send an email address to you, so you can drop your email address in the private box, so that I'll forward Aunt Flo's email to you. So I'm waiting for your email. Okay. And
My email as well.
yeah, please. Copying it out.
I just want to say, talk about the spiritual aspect of as well that just came to me. And that is that there is a spiritual war going on. And one of the things that feeds the enemy is blood sacrifice, human sacrifice. I know this sounds crazy kooky, but it's biblical and it's witchcraft. And so when you are having all these people massacred, especially innocent people, you're feeding a demonic spirit that is coming to life in that blood sacrifice that is happening. So you cannot go out and allow yourself to be sacrificed foolishly like this. Okay? It's just like what I talked about, how the Hebrew babies in America were thrown into the water to chum the water so that the crocodiles would come and eat them. And that brought that spirit of the dragon, the spirit of Satan, into that realm. So he had more power. And so when you guys go out there and you sacrifice yourselves as offerings to this demon, according to their instruction, them saying, this is how you'll get the victory, is if you just do a nonviolent protest so we can just kill you, then you're feeding that dark spirit, and you can't allow that. Your life is precious. Your blood is precious. And so the command right now is to hide yourself, to be alive and remain, in this time. So please, I just pray that you'll hear me about this, because they're doing the same thing here, and it's a fool's errand. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good night, Eunice. Good night, everybody. I'll see you all again. Bye.